Well, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is 7:30 Monday night, January 8th, Eastern Standard Time. You're probably looking at me like, what the hell is this guy streaming? I haven't streamed in like 4 months. I'm lucky if anyone's going to be watching me tonight. But I am here with Sean, aka the Hadalorian. How are you doing, sir? How are you?
Doing good, thank you, sir.
Yeah, fair.
Just
This is a little impromptu thing we put together because you and I were talking. I was like, yeah, we'll do a stream and just see. I haven't done one of these in a few months, but I think a monkey can operate this, so we'll see how this goes. But I didn't get really a chance to cover a lot of the stuff that came out news wise, and I figure you and I will just here have a little bit of a convo, talk about releases, pickups, what we get, and what we think about the oncoming onslaught. Which, like I said, I think we were talking backstage at talking about it and living through it are two different things. We keep saying, oh, well, we were expecting this, all these figures coming out, and now we're getting invoices dropped left and right. It's one of those. It's just, and then yeah, we'll talk about Toby. Look at some videos on Toby. We got some reviews out. Dead Strange, and then the Iron Man Mark II. Like I said, this stuff's been talked about last week, but we can get a little experienced mind in there, and then we'll also maybe even I know Adam Savage got his hands on a Jazz Inc Batmobile today, and if those who haven't a chance to watch it, we'll play that video. Maybe Sean and I, you and I have some thoughts on it. Being you owning Jazz Inc, me pre-ordering the '89, and for those who that window's closing on the '89, so just the friendly public service announcement. I think what is it, January 12th is supposed to be the closing on that as of now. So if you're interested. 89, and Sean, you have not pre-ordered it yet, so we'll talk about what's holding you back. We'll talk about what's holding you back on that. But some people trickling in. Like I said, Kaju Daddy's here. Good morning, fellas. I hope you're doing well. And we got Talia Meyer here. Hello, everyone. Like I said, a couple of people watching. I don't expect there to be a huge drawing just because I started this very impromptu and I don't stream as much anymore. I just don't have the time. So people will trickle in. But Sean, we'll just jump right into it. What did you get any recent pickups or anything like that? What pre-orders did you get coming in? You got any deliveries recently from Sideshow?
Yeah, I got them right here behind me. I got the Cobb Vamp that came in, was it yesterday, along with Wrecker?
Yep.
And then I had Wrecker came in today, actually, and then Cobb Vamp and Advanced Suit Goblin there came as well. And just before that, I got the Bat Cycle right there, and then from the Patterson Batman, and then of course I got He-Man, and I also got Panther. Skeletor's on its way in, but what happened is like it got held up at the Chinese customs since the 26th, and it just got released yesterday.
There you go. So for me, I think I showed you off screen, but I got a throwback, nothing new, but my first figure of 2024 is the Suicide Squad Joker in the Arkham. Shout out to Jeremy Casa, Plastic Hero Collectibles. I did order this last year, but it did come in today. But this is just an awesome looking piece. I got to admit, over time, the Jared Leto Joker kind of grew on me a little bit. I have to admit, I got a third party, he's right there. He can't blur it out, but the Nightmare version, I forget who made him. They call him something Revolver. I forget who made that figure, but I always like the Jared Leto piece, and I like this sitting in the chair. He looks unique, so that's something interesting. I got to ask your question before we jump into some current stuff. What are your thoughts on that Cobb Vanth figure? Because I know there's people that got that kind of shit on it. The head sculpt didn't look great, this, that, and the other. I've had the figure. I got it early. I got like day one. I love it. He's sitting right up. He's right there with his armor stripped off. Yeah, I love the figure. Look. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I very anticipated for me. Love it.
Yeah, for me, like, well, first of all, I'm gonna have to enter my bias. Have to, confess my bias for the figure. Like, I'm a huge Timothy Oliphant fan, and so with that said, I mean, I had to get him. But like now with the figure in hand that I got to really check out this morning, it's a solid figure. It's just he's a cool guy. Like, I mean, Book of Boba Fett, crap the Rancor's bed if you don't, if that's an analogy I could use. But I mean, his character was badass.
Yep. Yeah.
Like he had that what's that show that where he was
the Western yeah, I can't think of the name of it, but it's like
it was just like he stepped out of that show and into Star Wars.
Yeah,
like the way because I mean, nobody has a swagger like him when he's walking up to somebody ready to draw on them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, 100%. And it was a figure that I knew from day one I had to have that figure. I got it early. I don't normally day one pre-order stuff, like I had to pay that extra for it, but I did get it. And I think there's some people, I know he was delayed. I think people are finally starting to get those trickling in. And I think the only thing I'll say about it is, and I think Sean, you might agree with this, if he didn't come with a $300 price tag, he might have been. People probably wouldn't have been as harsh on the figure as they were, like trashing the head sculpt, things like that. If that was like a 260 figure, I think people would stomach that more in terms of like, hey, because there is a lot of recycled pieces on it, things like that. So there's not a lot of new stuff. Like when I did my review for it, I was like, 80% of that stuff is reused one way or another, down from the bottle of spotchka down to the armor. So it's like a lot of it is recycled, but nevertheless, 300 I know is it's a price to stomach for that kind of figure.
Yeah, Howard had to charge that Boba Fett tax on there.
Yeah. And then before we jump one more, and because we were just talking about it, how much of a pain in the ass were the Green Goblin clamps on that glider?
Oh, dude, I was getting so frustrated. I got my big meat fingers here, and I'm trying to get at the thing, and I'm just thinking I'm gonna break this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm gonna break it.
Yeah,
and so then I messaged you, and then I messaged Denobi, because I knew you guys had it, and then I was just like, how the hell do you get these clamps open without breaking them?
Yeah.
And then, you used a knife. Denobi used a heat gun, and it popped off real easy.
That's
funny. I didn't have a heat gun around me, and I didn't want to dig at it with a knife, but I found a small pair of tweezers or pliers, and it just like with the good grip on the pliers at the bottom, it pops right off real easy.
Yeah, I read the instructions. I don't normally look at the instructions. I read the instructions on how to do it, and it literally just says it pops out. So I just took a knife and I had a knife laying on my desk. I just popped it right off, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty bad. Like that's how it is. I thought it was more invasive than that, but it was not. But I want to jump right into I made the thumbnail kind of last. I switched the thumbnails around a lot, obviously, and if anyone saw the stream, I had the Negan thumbnail from The Walking Dead when he said, "Are we pissing our pants yet?" And I thought that was kind of funny because if you're a Walking Dead fan, I mean that's that was his opening intro. And the reason why I say that this photo's been circulated around a lot, but nevertheless, I mean I think we're in I don't even know if we're in the eye of it yet, Sean, or we're beginning of it, or it's still to come, because I believe I think the Chinese New Year is like, it's January 20 something. I got to look at the calendar. I don't have the calendar in front of me to see, but I remember looking at it. It's like January 20 something. And so, a lot of these figures, we got the Dead Strange, we got the Buzz, Spider-Man, Toby there. And, the one thing I always said is that these are like big ticket items. Toby's a $500 ticket,
Mm-hmm.
Dead Strange, a $400 ticket, Shazam, $400 ticket. And, that C-3PO is a $300 something ticket. These are expensive tickets. And, you made a good point is that, you see Padme there, and it might be some things to come because we don't have Anakin, don't have Mace Windu, and we don't have Return of the Jedi Darth Vader. So those could be delays, which for some are thankful. I'm fine with delays. I don't mind that because I'm always working on stuff. But how much stuff here you got on pre-order right now in terms of it wasn't a lot?
Well, I got all the Star Wars figures on PO. As for the rest, I was playing the waiting game. I was like as Denobi likes to call it, the waitlist game. And I was going to see. I was intended to get Toby, and I plan to get Catwoman. The only but it's like a want. It's not a need.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking okay, well with everything else that I got on pre-order, and I got some big ticket items that are on there too. That's now that set me up in a way would say well, I just can't get there. I got to start. Decisions need to be made now. I got to be realistic about my budget. So I was saying okay, I'll wait on Toby and wait on Andrew Garfield and see if they go. I figured they wouldn't be a small batch.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and but no, it's a different era now. So they went in. I lost that game, but I still got my hopes up for Catwoman for when it gets in stock, that can use some discounts and maybe some upcoming sideshow promos to grab her.
Yeah, 100%. Just want to give a shout out to Slugum16. Good evening, Mr. Mom and fellow collectors. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing good. Bad Boy for Life. What up, collectors? Hope you're doing well as always, if I can talk. Payton 23 in the house. Good evening, everyone. Payton, I hope you're doing well. Boba Fettuccini, the greatest boba in the galaxy of collecting. I hope you're doing good. Rock on, brother. Hope you're doing well. So some people are trickling in. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, I was looking at this list. And you know, I got Dead Strange, Catwoman, Toby, Shazam, Black Adam. I keep saying Shazam, Black Adam, Padme, and 3PO. Now, Dead Strange, we're going to take a look at some videos if anyone had a chance to look at some unboxings. I'm actually kind of glad I did the stream now because I like looking at MRC stuff. So MRC's got unboxing videos of the Toby and the Dead Strange we'll take a look at. The Dead Strange I have on pre-order with a local comic book shop, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of, and that's one of my quote unquote New Year's resolutions as a collector. I want to add more uniqueness to my collection, you know, different pieces.
Now, when Dead Strange first got announced and everyone freaked out, everyone just like, oh my God, it's amazing figure. I'm just curious, like now Dead Strange, the way it is now, like it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I got the impression that a lot of people tapped out.
I don't disagree with you. And I think I was talking to Nate. Shout out to Nate from Geeking Out. Hope you're there, brother. I think he's going to listen on the replay. You know, I would agree with you on that because here's one of those things, Sean. Let me ask you a question. I'll propose a hypothetical to you. If you get two invoices, one of them is Dead Strange and one of them is Toby Maguire Spider-Man. You get two invoices. You can only pay for one of them. Which one are you going to go with?
Oh, I'm going to go with Toby.
And I think some collectors are in that mindset, but how many actually even pre-ordered Dead Strange to begin with? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know how many people jumped on Dead Strange right away. It's just because it's like it's a unique piece. I saw a lot of people say it's very Sam Raimi. Like the design is just so unique, and it's almost like this, man. It's almost like you almost need this Morbius right here because he's another one that like I never even saw the movie. I've never had no interest in Morbius, but I can respect characters. Like for me, I don't need to like a movie to get a figure from that. Like Venom. Like Venom was okay as a movie, but I love that Venom figure, that Tom Hardy Venom figure. I absolutely love it. So Morbius is the same way. Like I like Morbius. It's something different that Hot Toys doesn't do. And him and Dead Strange would look awesome together, personally. Matter of fact, since we're talking about Dead Strange, why don't we just jump into here's I'm muted. This is MRC's review of Dead Strange. So we can kind of, if you haven't seen this yet, like I said, MRC, he usually like best reviewer, I think, when it comes to day one stuff. He's very, you know, impartial. If he tells it like it is, and you know, he gets everything. So it's kind of just giving you a breakdown. And if anything, the ingenuity behind this figure is just unbelievable. Like just the way the Hot Toys engineered this thing is just awesome. Like I said, we can continue talking, but this is, like I said, if you haven't seen an unboxing of this is better than the Sideshow first look, in my opinion. And like I said, shout out to MRC, some of the best videos out there. His stuff gets used all the time, and I just want to make sure he gets the proper dues. But Boba Fettuccini says, "Well, I cannot wait for Dead Strange. I day one pre-ordered it and has been waiting and waiting and waiting." Yeah, Kaju Daddy says, "Whether I pay the invoice, that's a different story." Yeah, that's true. And he said, I pre-order everything. No, whether I pay the invoice. That is very true. Very true.
Now, Ron, do you have any other undead kind of like figures? Like
I have
the Iron Man, zombie Iron Man?
I have nothing.
Or Deadpool?
Nothing at all. So this would be a first dead character for me. And so I would have to figure out a way to work this into the collection. I have ideas.
Yeah, see, that was my problem. It's just like, it's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece. Like, I mean, Hot Toys did a crazy good job on it. It looks gorgeous. It does.
This cape, like,
I just don't know if I, just want an undead kind of zombie kind of thing for my collection.
Yeah.
Even though it's super cool.
Do you have Doctor Strange at all in your collection? A version?
Yeah, I got Doctor Strange. Yeah, I pretty much got all the Avengers.
See, I had the Infinity War and I sold it to get rid of it because I knew there would be subsequent versions coming out. Doctor Strange is one of those characters I only need one of. I don't need 15 versions of him. And so I'm like many on the fence when it comes to the Multiverse of Madness version and the No Way Home version. I like the Multiverse of Madness version of the figure, like the actual figure himself, but I love the accessories of the No Way Home. So the combination of both is really what, I almost want to get the Multiverse of Madness version and then buy the display base from No Way Home, like on the aftermarket somewhere, and pair them together, because I think that's just the ultimate combination for me.
Yeah.
But this one is like, it's just so unique that it reminds me of like the Golden Armor Wonder Woman. Like if you get this, like it's full wingspan, it out in the collection, and I have the space for it. Space is not a problem. I can plop this guy right in the back on the flight pole and then have kind of the Avengers around him, so space is not the issue by any means for me. It's just, like I said, my whole thing is I have an out, and I'm not, you want to call me tap dance, play the tap dancing, but like my out is that Sideshow still has it for pre-order, which I think is going to go to in stock, and based on the community's feedback, it very well might hit in stock, where depending on when I get invoices, and I just reached out to the guy, because the guy I have this on pre-order with, I have him, Toby, Wolverine, what else just came out? Something else just came out, like 4 invoices. And I said, hey, do you have any? Oh, the Batman too. And I was like, hey, do you have any updates on these? And he's like, right now I don't have anything. So that actually gives me a breather. It's like I'm good then. But if invoices start coming in one after another, I have to figure out, what I can do. And like I said, my out might be, I might pre-order it with Sideshow, and the guy that I get the stuff from, I can just move the deposit around to something else, because I have more than enough stuff on pre-order. So I'm not losing out, but I'm definitely going to get this one way or another. But the the engineering behind this is just, it's awesome. It really is. Yeah. Fast forward a little bit to what he puts. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, here's the sculpt. Like, it's just so cool looking. Right? It's so neat.
I was really surprised that there wasn't more figures from the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I mean, I was expecting more variants, honestly, like more like kind of like Mandalorians, but I was a little surprised, because what did we get? We got a regular Strange, we got Dead Strange, and then we got Scarlet Witch. That was it, right? We didn't get anything else.
Yeah, didn't get American Chavez. Didn't get any of the council.
The council, right? And
like, then hell, like I was sure they were going to drop the Fantastic Four, or the, what's his face, Reed
Richards.
Yeah, and why the hell not?
That being Stewart. In the chair, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. Even if you didn't watch the movie, there'd be tons of people that would grab that.
That'd be your most comic accurate version of him yet.
Yeah.
But this is just insane. Like watching, like putting all the heads on there and everything. Like, this is just, it's unbelievable. Like I skimmed through a little bit of this, but I was waiting to watch this at the same time as the stream. So I kind of watched a little bit, but I want to see it fully displayed, like in pose. Like I said, the MRCs, like the Toby, I have the Sideshow first look up, and I have his review, because I don't know if you're aware, apparently in MRC's video of Toby, his leg actually broke. He actually broke the leg. Whether he did it or the figure did it, I don't know. But you kind of hear like it break apparently. But yeah, like Peyton agrees. Like, that's strange. It looks awesome. It looks like a figure you kind of window shop. You view from afar. Like, it looks great, but not in the collection kind of thing.
Yeah, I have a feeling like if you stick this in, if you put this in a detail, or if you have a Maji case, if it's not lit right, it's not going to do it justice.
No,
because how dark it is.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with this. Let me just fast forward till he's got the whole thing. He's just kind of all right. He's doing like a little up close detail video of it. So this is just showing like the details of all. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, in terms of, like I said, just the engineering side of it, Hot Toys really. I think you're getting your money's worth out of this thing.
Look how close that is. Denobi, eat your heart out for his.
Yeah, 4K. It's 8K. I think Denobi said he'd be watching. So if you're watching, there you go. MRC knows how. What Denobi needs is, you need MRC to film a jazzing Batmobile video. If you want one of those, an 8K blast or a vehicle, you need MRC to do it, because these are the shots that you need from that stuff. But yeah, Big Dog Pound 1 in the.
Yeah, that's so damn close. You're gonna see a speck of dust on that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh wow.
That just looks so cool.
Yeah, you see, look at the lighting here. Look how pale the skin is, like flesh color it is, and then when you zoom out, it looks gray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to get you definitely need the right lighting for this figure.
And MRC, he does a lot of darker, like if you watch his Toby video, I mean, it's just his setup. Like you see there, it's very dark,
Yeah,
and he has like the backlit sticks. It's funny, I have one of those sitting in my desk too. But it's just such an awesome looking piece. And like I said, it's just a matter of when it comes. I mean, it just, like I said, it just layers on a cake, and I think that's what it is. It's like you pre-order these things a year ago. I actually pre-ordered this late. I only pre-ordered this figure like 3 months ago. It was still available, so I was like, oh, I didn't do this. All right, I'll jump in. I'll throw a $20 deposit on this thing, but that looks so unbelievable. That looks, and what bothers me about this with Hot Toys is that they go all out and they still give you that damn little like hexagon display base. Like, like you went so out, like right here, this figure looks so badass. And then when you zoom out, it's like that same little basic display, like
yeah. You needed like a small diorama, like
mountains or something like that. Like,
stone, crushed stone, or something like that.
yeah, when he was on the cliff and he was
Yeah,
flying
it
up.
really takes it away from all the solid work and the details and the undead skeletons and everything.
Yeah, it's still, like I said, it's one of those things that I didn't do any kind of reaction or anything like that to this. It's just like I said, I was kind of creeping. It seems like the overall community is positive about this piece. It's just a matter of, like I said, it's just not for them because, like I said, it's a dead figure. It's 400. I mean, 375 out the door. That's not even out the door. Like 375 plus tax and shipping. You're talking over $400 for this piece. And you know he got announced, and so I just think a lot of people are appreciating it from afar, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be getting this. It's going to be select, and so I said I looked on Sideshow. I'm like, oh wow, it's still for pre-order. And like I said, it's this could be one because very few nowadays. I mean, you know, Sean. I mean, you said you played the game. Not many figures are hitting in stock in Sideshow, but I can understand this being one of them. So for those who, the whole tap out thing, if people were talking shit about this, like it sucked, that'd be like, all right, then we're talking tap out. But if you just can't get it because of the space and something's more important in price, I get it 100%. I absolutely do get it. But that's just an amazing, absolutely amazing piece.
Yeah, I think if I was more into the horror and I had some more horror like figures and stuff in my collection,
Yeah.
I think this I would definitely want to add something like that
Yeah.
to it. But like I don't collect any of the horror figures. I don't collect, I passed on Undead Iron Man and
I don't have any of them. Yeah.
Undead Deadpool and
Even
yeah.
the what was the Mysterio zombie Iron Man from Far From Home? Was that the zombie one? All that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. From
Yeah. That's
Heroes
that was like a $400 figure too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I was
and I got to look at that at a local comic shop here
Mhm.
in Vegas, and man, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The detail on it is phenomenal. But yeah, again, it just comes to me as just like if I did that, I'd have to create a whole section display just on its own, so that because it would just bug me if it was in with everything else.
Mm. So I think we wrapped up on Dead Strange. It was a nice little segue into it. So why don't we jump into what do you want to do? Your dealer's choice. How about this? I'm going to give you as the guest dealer's choice. We got some stuff to talk about. We could talk about Toby. We could talk about Iron Man Mark II, which I have a nice little graphic to talk about, which I don't think I showed you yet, but we'll talk about that.
No, I haven't seen it.
And then we could talk about Jazz Inc. and the Adam Savage video of the 22 Batmobile. So dealer's choice.
Well, let's hit Toby. Let's knock that off the chart here since it's here. Right.
Let's do Toby.
Center.
Do the Sideshow first look. So Toby came out. He was announced, got tipped off about this. This is a Sideshow first look, and we also have MRC. So Sideshow first look, it's like a 4-minute video. They're going to blow through this thing super fast. I have this on order. He's the GOAT. He's shocker. I mean, no one kill me. He's not my favorite Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is actually my favorite Spider-Man. But he is the GOAT, so I respect that. I felt like this is one where you had to go deluxe. I'm not usually that person where it's like deluxe or but I'm usually very like, hey, you don't always have to get deluxe. But for me, I need the Sandman base because he's crucial to my Sinister Six. Yeah. Because I'm not going to put Toby on the clamp and ruin the suit. I'm actually going to put one of my villains on there. I'm going to use the flight pole and either put Electro or I'm going to put Doc Ock on it because what I'm trying to do is build a Sinister Six display, and I'm going to use the dioramas. So like I didn't get the Lizard base yet, but I'm going to get him and put Electro on him. And I also have Mysterio, so I want to have a diorama piece. So this piece for me was crucial with the deluxe.
Now, did you look at the third-party Sandman and and the third party lizard.
Yes, I thought they were both garbage. I know the lizard looks really bad, and I know Denobi has I think he's got the Sandman. If I'm not
Yeah, he
mistaken,
does.
he
He
actually
did a
even
lot of
modified
custom
it.
work to it.
Yeah,
He
he like added more sand to it or something.
yeah.
That's so. But yeah, MD Dyson, we're going to talk about that. He said Toby looks good. People have brought up a handful of issues. Must be, but it must be for me. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and guys watching in the chat, by all means, jump in. I was talking to Sean about this backstage because he was kind of like, "What's there to complain about?" And obviously these are early reviews because the figure's already delayed. People came out and then people instantly got their delay notices. So a lot of people like overseas got the figure. I'm going to pause this here. My personal gripe with the figure, because nothing's perfect, perfection doesn't exist. And I think people forget that perfection doesn't exist in this. My personal gripe is what you see right here. And you can go back and say, well, it was advertised before. That's fine. Like the prototypes, but I don't like the neck mechanism. I don't like this personally. I think I have no issues with Toby's sculpt. I know people have said that. I'm trying to list the complaints, Sean, so we can check them off. Obviously the first one is going to be the sculpt softened. He looks more depressed. Well, he didn't really smile a lot in those movies. He wasn't exactly the happiest unless he was like emo. So whatever, it's whatever. The sculpt I have no problem with. I don't like how the neck is broken up here. It's two parts. I wish the neck was seamless because it does take away from the real. Like, it's such a good looking sculpt that it looks very real to me. Like, that looks like Toby Maguire, but unfortunately the break in the neck, it takes away that realism for me. Like, I forget, it reminds me I'm looking at a toy and not a person.
Yeah.
Like, damn. And I felt it right there. Like, that takes it away. Like, that pose and that neck, like, I can't unsee it. And the problem is the Iron Man Mark III did the same thing. Like, the Mark III is my favorite all-time Iron Man suit. And when I was putting that together and I put the head sculpt on, I'm like, damn, they broke the neck. Like, it's a separation in the neck. It took away from the realism a little bit. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. The neck attachment here, if you could see there, Sean, like it looks like Andrew's, where it's kind of like this piece. It is what it is. I mean, I'm happy that we got that, because if you own Spider-Man figures, they don't do a good job in, like, all of Tom Holland's. They basically just gave him a turtleneck. And so
was the original Toby Maguire like that?
I don't own it. I have to go back and look at the tape. I have to go back and look at it to see, personally. So I can't speak on that. I could pull it up and see and try to find a video, or if someone in the chat can call that out, if that whole neck attachment was the same way in the original. I can't see why it wasn't, but it's something that, a little disappointed with personally. I don't like how Andrew had it, but I know Andrew was kind of just a reissue of the original, so there's not much they can do with it. But the neck thing is the only problem I have with Toby. Otherwise, I think it's a great looking figure. Absolutely love it. And this display base is like unbelievable. This is just an awesome piece.
Yeah, it's one of the best display pieces that Hot Toys has done.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little confused why it had Doc Ock's arm on there, but I wouldn't use it anyway.
Well, it was the same thing with almost like with the other one, the integrated suit. It had some goblin or the goblins pumpkin bombs, and then it had one of Doc Ock's tentacles as well.
Yeah,
like from that display base.
I have mine on. Yep, payment plan. Yep, he looks good. Pretty close to the pro. I think same thing, Peyton. I agree. I think it's pretty close to the prototype. There's not much that, like I said, the what do you call it? The nitpicking police. The perfection police can come out and say this, that, and the other. Articulation. I'm not worried about the articulation because, like I said, if you have a Spider-Man figure, you can't really do anything without the suit stretching. I mean, if you watch MRC's video and you have the audio on, you could hear the suit stretching when he's trying to do the articulation, because that suit just looks so tight. Like, the blue looks very tight on the figure.
I think the neck seam on this version with the mask it's not bad. It's acceptable, but yeah, when you go to the head sculpt, it almost looks like a weird kind of turtleneck thing going on. Or
it does, and I believe I have to pull up I have Sideshow's website up. I think the Tom Holland one, the newest one, the red and blue, is the same way. Where like I said, if you own, I have the Far From Home Tom Holland, the black and the red, and yeah, I always hated how like they gave him a turtleneck where they never gave that true separation on the neckline because it looked weird to me. I actually got one of those like rubber neck skins, that you put on the figure that kind of gave it that look. It looks really good from a distance. Like it looks like he's how it should. And I appreciate how finally it took how many suits for them to get it right on Tom Holland to give him a proper neckline. But I like this a lot. Like I said, I have it on order. If you're collecting the trinity of Spider-Man figures, you can't not have the GOAT. I know other people were complaining about the suit. Let's say, there you go. I got one for articulated purposes and one for museum. Are they cropping the video to hide the seam in the forehead? See, that's the other thing to bring up, and we'll bring up MRCs about that. I've seen people talk about that with the seam stitching, and Sean, I know when we talked about it backstage, because I think I kind of recapped you a little bit because you were like, well, what are the complaints? I was kind of going down, down the list of like kind of stuff to be prepared to talk about. And we'll jump over to MRC's video because his actually breaks it down. That's actually a cool pose right there. If that's Terry, that's a great pose. This is MRC's again. We'll skim through when he brings up the diorama there. And so the thing with the seam, and we talked about this, is that I wasn't upset about it. It does look off because it's like very obvious on this figure. But I mean, the thing is that if if you had multiple Spider-Man figures before, unfortunately, that's a part of the engineering of the figure. If they're doing a cloth sculpt, is that you're going to get that ugly seam towards the top of the head. And it happens with figures. Now, as we talked about, I have the classic suit and the advanced suit, and those are sculpted heads. So there's nothing, and I agree. I think the sculpted looks great. You even commented, you said, I wonder if they did sculpted for Toby, how that looked. I mean, I think it looked awesome. I think the problem with Toby, and I can grab the comic book version because I have the new comic book series Spider-Man that also has a stitch seam right down the center of the head. But the difference on that one, and I think I was telling you, Sean, is that his webbing pattern covers it up because ironically, the classic Spider-Man, the comic book, he has a web line that goes dead center or down his forehead. They ironically put the webbing right over the seam. Where Toby,
that's what you need to have. You need to have it over the seam.
And Toby's web pattern is different, where it's split down the forehead. He doesn't have a direct web line down the center, so the seam looks very obvious, like it does. And I'm not giving Hot Toys a pass by any means. It just is unfortunate that's the engineering of the suit. Now, I don't know why they can't come up with a different way to stitch it. If they're going to do a cloth head, why they can't stitch it a different way, put it on the under. I have no idea. I can't speak on behalf of that. They've been doing it. How many Spider-Mans have they put out? And it's all the same. They do it all the same way. So I don't know. And right there, let me try to zoom in. You see it right there? You see it?
Oh yeah, shit.
Oh yeah, I'm not justifying that. And you can see how his web pattern is really bad. Like it makes it very obvious because of Toby's distinct web pattern of his suit. It looks. You can let me see if I can. I want to freeze it where he gets right to the center. Yeah. You can see that it doesn't look.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look. You can actually see the webbing here. It actually kind of goes up and like it binds up into it. It doesn't look. It doesn't. It just
doesn't seem like it'd be too hard to if like it. Why'd it have to be the seam have to be center? They could have went off to the side and get it closer.
That's what I mean. Like, look at that. You see that? Like it's and like you could see right here how the webbing it gets like absorbed into it. Like it's not even like it. Yeah. Look right there. You can see it's an ugly seam. I'm not trying to fanboy Hot Toys and say, oh yeah, you're justifying it. As I said, they're doing this with so many Spider-Man figures. Like I don't know why they can't figure out something else to make that even better. As a matter of fact, let me bring it back.
Yeah.
Like even Andrew Garfield's his webbing seam is right down the dead center of his head, so you don't see it. It's Toby's that makes it more obvious. Like I'm not trying to justify anything, but let me just try to, if I may, let me pause this and bring my ugly mug.
Oh, okay. So that's the first time that they were doing when they were they were bent. When you bend the head, the webbing on the neck turns with it.
Yes,
Because
like this one,
before,
yeah, exactly.
it was the neck goes all the way up to the head seam, and that's where, and they move it that way.
So this is the. Sorry, guys. Like I said, give me a moment. Where see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, don't be wrong. There's a seam there. There's a stitch. I mean, I'll zoom on my. There it is. See it?
Oh,
I don't mean it's perfect because you can see that metal, that middle. You see the webbing is bent, in the center. It's still bent, but I mean, honestly, from a distance, can you really tell that there's a stitch pattern? I mean, like,
no, you got to get in there close to see the stitch.
and not for nothing, by the way, while I have this figure up, people who talk shit about this one, these reflective eyes are unbelievable. Like this metallic here, like, come on, man, this is like. It doesn't do it justice, by the way. Just FYI, this figure is pretty awesome in person, and these eyes are like. My camera's fixed. So anyway, yeah. So I'll bring this back up.
Good. Can I pick on it for a second?
Yeah, give us your hate. You are the Hatealorian at the end of the day. Give us your hate.
You don't find the head is a tad bit too small
on this figure?
And I mean small, not in width, but in like height.
It's a little bit, yeah. Like a little comic
short.
Yeah, I do like how on this figure, actually, well, now we're talking, I'll just jump off real fast. I do like how this, people I think criticize this one by saying like the body looks kind of proportionate. It actually is pretty muscular. Like I actually do like the body that was chosen for this. People like, I think comment like it looks kind of lanky and stuff like that. I actually like, because you can very much see the muscle. I like how you can see the muscle definition in the figure. Once again, you got to see this in person, understand, but you can very much see bicep, tricep definition on this. And I really do like this a lot in terms of the overall figure itself. So this is one of those where, it's this is one of my favorite ones. But Toby, yeah, it's just like you go from that and then you see this and it's like, oof, and the seam is definitely something I understand. Like I get it. People are, it sucks, Sean, because as a collector, you're gonna backwards and get the older Toby Maguire. I mean, those figures are over 10 months, 10 years old, and they're not exactly holding up either. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
You're playing you're playing the odds on whether if you're gonna get one that how it was stored, and if because on the older ones the webbing is starting to peel off and on the suit and everything.
Yeah. This Toby may be the worst of the Spideys, sadly. Well, it depends on what you're looking at. If you are referring to... So here's the thing, Sean. I mean, not to give people a tease, but I guess I will. I had an idea for a video. Like, I don't try to be too negative and do, like, clickbait. Clickbait, I do that sometimes, too. But I had an idea that now that all of the No Way Home figures are out, right? The whole line's concluded. Is this possibly one of the more expensive failures by Hot Toys? And I know when I say the word failure, that's a very strong word. Like, well, it's not a failure. They gave us great figures, but for the amount of money I'm talking, think about the whole line. Go back to the black suit. Remember the black and gold that came out before the movie came out? They messed that one up because they put it out so quick. It's the wrong suit design, right?
Yeah.
That one came out. So, and they didn't include that in the overall photo when they showed Toby. They showed the whole series of figures. They excluded that one. The battle damage. Remember the battling damaged version of when he was holding the box on that diorama?
Yep.
Like his whole suit is battle damaged, but he never was battle damaged fighting. He was never dirty or anything like that fighting Doctor Strange. He was just in his normal suit. So like that one was like overly battle damaged for no reason. I'm just saying, like, there was, you can say Doc Ock's head sculpt. There's like little things like Andrew Garfield, unfortunately. I think some of it is because of what Hot Toys could do. Because if you remember we couldn't pre-order Andrew Garfield right away. And then he was listed under the Amazing Spider-Man. And now this is under Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So there's definitely some issues with Sony and licensing, I'm sure, that they couldn't get these probably the right way that they could be put out and things like that. It's just that for them, I think this was like over a $4,000 line. If you got every figure, I think you were in excess of fourth. I remember looking at that with Nate, and I think what I did was I added every figure to my shopping cart on Sideshow. I put every figure in my cart with shipping and tax. and I think it was over a $4,000 line. It was one of the most expensive lines, I think, to date, in terms of if you got, I'm talking Doctor Strange and you got everything. It was over $4,000. And I just wonder, are collectors who, if you got even 80% of these figures, are you satisfied with what Hot Toys put out? I mean, like I said, I mean, it's an interesting proposal, so to speak. I was going to make a video about that and just kind of get people's thoughts on that. Like, let me see if he, oh, see, like he cut off of the, I was hoping he'd go up higher to see the top seam, but I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, seeing all the stuff. I definitely think the line was hit or miss. I think it was overall more positive than negative. I'm not being negative. I think this, obviously, it's more positive because there's a lot of, but are we held up too much on the nostalgia of these things because these are characters that we love? So is that kind of blinding us a little bit, you think?
A little bit. I mean, for one of the things for me when like I look at the Spider-Man line is just like I'm kind of Spider-Man'd out.
The Mando problem.
Just like because especially like there's just so many damn versions of your Tom Holland Spider-Man, and it just got to the point of like, I got a bunch of different versions of Spider-Man, but like with the Sony line and like 2-3 different versions of Spider-Man for every movie, it was just like, all right, it just there's only so much Spider-Man I want to have in my collection now.
Yeah. I've canceled many of my orders lately. Hot Toys nails the 2.0s and die-cast pieces. Why can't they be more consistent? I mean, that's one of the gripes that I have as Hot Toys with a company too, is the, like, look at the head sculpt, man. It's just like, and then boom, right? Is that, I mean, like the head sculpt looks, I don't have no complaints about the head sculpt. And like, you're right, the harsh light, I mean, MRC's lighting is harsh here. So it flushes out the skin tone. So I'm not paying attention to that, but the craftsmanship, it's like,
yeah, but when it gets close right here, it's awesome.
Oh, the beard, it's like, it looks great. But then the neck, I'm like, oh, it just sucks. And I'm not even talking about the web neck. I'm talking about the neck actually behind his ear. I'm like, damn. Yeah.
Yeah, and even got the mole on the side of his head too.
Right? It's like they if you got to pay to play in the 1/6 scale game, 100 figures, you'll throw out and give or take. I mean, you're not wrong. You got to pay to play. Yeah, you're right. The problem is standards have gone way up on third parties like J&D in art. Well, I mean, that's an interesting question, right? The standards have gone way up on third parties.
And that leads me to another rant right there. It's like J&D and InArt coming in on this now, and they're going out these, their take is this like super high end kind of figures. You know what people aren't really getting it. Oh, like they're saying like, oh yeah, this is great. It's more competition. No, it ain't. It's just Hot Toys is now has the option of increasing their prices more. Because like, yeah, if they're, if you're going to have like a Joker that's selling for $600-700 and their Joker is like, well, if we do it, Hot Toys does their artisan Joker, well, we can put this out for $500 now. It's
by the way, Peyton's right. 2.0 Jack Nicholson, 35th anniversary of Batman 89. Let's go.
Yeah, that needs to be an artisan one.
And there he is, the man himself. There's your buddy. Bring on the Spider-Verse. That's one thing that people see. That's the thing we're going to talk about, is that going into 2024, Sean, you and I talked about this off, and we were like, but it's like, people were worried like, oh, what are we going to get in 2024 because there's not enough content, movie. What do you got? You got Deadpool coming out and a bunch of Disney Plus shows, whatever. Star Wars isn't doing anything, like you said. DC's resetting itself for the next couple of years. It's opening the door, man. I mean, I know people instantly want to say, well, we're going to get 2.0s and reissues, but hey, Denobi kind of hits the nail. He does agree with that. And I think we talked about that. There's so many still things we haven't got anything from Spider-Man PS4, PS5, I mean, except for Venom, Advanced Suit, Miles. We haven't really got anything else. And there's a plethora of suits, though. They can easily turn and burn another 10 figures if they wanted to, whether you want them or not. There's so much untapped stuff that they haven't done yet.
Yeah, and they still got that last Spider-Verse movie coming out too.
Exactly. That we still haven't even gotten the complete Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 series of figures, which, cross your fingers, you hope you get to complete the team.
No, Howard passed on that. Like he's not going to do that.
So
He's not.
you think Guardians is done? You don't think there's gonna be
Yeah,
Drax?
Guardians is done. He's not going to go back and do Drax and do the.
Well, we're missing Drax and we're missing Mantis, Team Suit
Yeah.
Mantis. So we're
Look how long it took it to do Mantis previous.
Yeah.
It was that, and it was that Christmas special one.
Yeah.
That's your one Mantis that you're going to get. He's not going to go back and do Mantis.
Oh man, you're breaking the hearts of so many people out there. Daredevil and Kingpin from Echo, but no Echo could be a thing. I'll tell you what, man. I'm not looking forward to Echo. I stopped watching a lot of Disney Plus shows just because they're just snooze fest for me. But I will say, did you see that leaked fight scene or hear about that between Echo and Daredevil?
Oh my god, that was the worst thing ever.
What fight scene?
It was. I had to watch it a couple times. I was laughing my head off.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait.
It was more dance choreography than
it was. That's the funny thing is, I think they're dropping that whole thing tomorrow. If I watch the trailer for it, I think they're dropping it all 5. So that goes to show how much they care about that. They're not even going to make people wait. They're going to say, "Here's 5 episodes. Have a nice day. Move on to the next thing." Denobi says, "Can't wait to build the Spidey Trinity." Listen, man, I can't wait to get this one. I'm looking forward to Toby. I have no complaints on it. I mean, the suit's what it is. In terms of posability, unless it's your first Spider-Man figure, you know what you're getting with this figure. You know what you're getting. You're getting, ironically, a figure that is supposed to be highly articulated and posable that you really can't do it without damaging the suit. So you kind of know what you're getting involved with when you get Spider-Man figures. So it's a matter of, pick your poison of what you want to go with here.
Yeah, my big rant about Spider-Man right now is okay. I'm just kind of I got enough Spider-Man now. I'm about the villains. Like I want, like that Goblin 2.0 is a sweet figure. I love it. Electro is awesome.
Doc Ock.
Mysterio is awesome. Doc Ock was awesome. And I didn't get the complaints on that one.
Which one, Doc Ock?
Yeah.
See, Denobi can hold it to me because I'm hoping when he played his tap dancing video, and I think he said something about Doc. I openly admitted I didn't like the Doc Ock head sculpt. I admitted that. I made a video about it. I said I didn't like the head sculpt, but the overall ambiance of the figure, I knew was going to make me like it even more. You know what I mean? Like there's so much going on with it. I can actually look past the head sculpt, and I understand the significance of that figure because you're never going to get another Doc Ock figure. So I wasn't going to pass on that because I didn't like the head sculpt. And sure enough, that thing, it's exactly what I thought. I look past it when I look at it in my collection. I completely don't even think of the head sculpt as all. It's definitely the weakest of the 3 villains, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. But I will say the only knock I have about Doc Ock is that I didn't need to go with the deluxe version.
Yeah, my man, I got standard. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it was just a waste of money. You'll never use those other arms.
It's 99% of the people that bought Doc Ock was for the nostalgic reasons of Alfred Molina Doc Ock, and I'm sorry, him with red tentacles. There's no reason for it. Like the extra $30, like I'm all about like, hey, is the deluxe worth it or not? Like the Toby Spider-Man, in my opinion, unless you don't have the space for it, that deluxe with the Sandman base is totally worth it to me. Like absolutely worth it. Like it's worth the money. But I would never spend $30 extra on red tentacles. That's just my opinion. But let's see what Equan said. Did you see those Disney Plus advertisements for the Echo show? Rated unsuitable for children, violent, sounds desperate. Yeah, well, they're. Like I said, they're dropping all 5 episodes. Just here you go, and
let's actually see how much Daredevil is actually in that Echo show.
They said not a lot. They're
pushing it. They're pushing Daredevil a lot in there.
Yeah,
and he's probably only going to be in there for like maybe
a couple minutes,
fight scene and maybe 20 more seconds.
Yeah, I just hope that we get an actual red Daredevil suit figure out of that or the show because I passed on the mustard yellow. I passed on that one. So
yeah, I couldn't get that one just for the simple fact how that was connected to She-Hulk. Couldn't do it. She-Hulk was so bad. I canceled Disney Plus a while ago.
Did you?
And it was funny because but they kept giving it to me for free.
It's like Sirius XM radio. You cancel it. And it's like, oh, we'll give you another 6 months for $2. We'll give you another 6 months for $2.
Yeah, I got like, it was like I think I'm on. It was like month 4 or 5, and then they finally turned it off.
Yeah.
I think they had to do a couple of earning calls or something like that to get the numbers, keep the numbers up, and then they dropped it.
Peyton says, I'm the only one that's looking forward to Echo. Listen, I'll watch it. My wife isn't. I'll watch it when there's nothing on, but I'm not going to be getting my popcorn ready for tomorrow's premiere. I'll watch it on a rainy day or when I have nothing to do. I'll say, here, we got something going on. But NBA Nice, yeah.
Oh, I'm just happy that my Disney Plus is finally canceled, so I can't go crying game watching it.
Well, my problem is my daughter watches Disney Plus, so I'm stuck. Oh, there you go. MB Dyson says the Spidey Trinity are the only two Spideys I'm planning to get ever, unless something in the future blows me away. And Denobi says I used the extra arms. Yeah, well, we know what you used them for, but the average collector who isn't like a mechanic, either way. So
yeah, nobody needs an advanced back scratcher there, Denobi.
Yeah, right.
That lights up like USB style.
Brad says, can't wait for Darth Vader and still waiting on my Wolverine. Well, actually, people are getting invoices for Wolverine. So
yeah, I got mine today.
Yeah, I got mine today too.
Charge on the 8th.
Yeah, Wolverine, I opted for the standard version. I am not getting the deluxe because I would never be using that base anyway. So I saved myself the money on that one. But yeah, Wolverine.
You didn't get the base?
I didn't get it. No. I just not going to use it. It's just I don't. It's just
I'm a sucker for good diorama bases.
Yeah, it's a nice piece, but you know what it is? It's too. I don't like the circular base, so it's too restrictive. I like dioramas that are just kind of like more open. It's hard to explain. It really has to be the right piece for me. That because what I do is I mix and match my dioramas. So, like for example, you know the Boba Fett 2-pack, the original that came with like a little grass diorama. I'm using one for like a stormtrooper and one for my Chrome Mando. So like I mix and match dioramas all the time. So like that one was just too unique to that figure. I didn't like how it was kind of restricted on that little round circular base. So I didn't bother with the it had nothing to do with the misprint name, not at all. Brad says that Tom Holland Spidey looks to be really good. Yeah, arguably that's what sucks about that one. Where is that? Well, there's the Iron Man. I want to bring this up real fast, but let me see if I can find them here. What sucks about that figure? Have you played the PS5 game yet, or no? The Spider-Man 2?
No, I haven't. I'm still making my way through Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, this suit here is like, oh, of course I searched it and I can't find it. The suit itself, I think, it's waitlisted. So let me see. It should be here at the end. This is one of the most nicest suits. And I really hope that we get to see more of this because, like, in the video game, really shows this suit off. When I unlocked this in the video game, because that's really, we really didn't get a chance to see a lot of it in action. And so when I unlocked it in the video game, I played with this for a little bit. It is such an awesome looking suit. Like, this is just, I love this. And that was the one thing about Tom Holland. I know we're diverting a little bit and we'll jump into the Iron Man, but what bothered me so much about Tom Holland's suits is that they were too Iron Man techy. Like just too much tech. And I understand why the suits were made. I get the narrative. It's just I'm personally not a fan of that. I like the idea of Spider-Man, like he runs out of webbing or his suit was natural. Like wasn't a lot of technology in it. So he had to like kind of think on his own about it. So this is an awesome looking suit and how stripped down it's supposed to be and what it represents. And I really hope we get to see more of it in future iterations of it, but in the video game it was really awesome. It really was. And while we're here, I think Tom Holland see, like his neckline is really like they did. I mean, assuming the prototype lives up to, they did a damn good job with this. Like this looks, compared to Toby, this looks really good. Really good. It
doesn't puff up.
Right? Like it doesn't look, I mean, like I said, the prototype could be something different, but I mean, it depends. So we'll see what happens. But I want to jump over to, where is he? I had him here for a second, guys. So the Iron Man, I actually consulted Denobi about this today. So Iron Man Mark II, I'm going to gun to your head. Did you pre-order this yet?
Yeah. Just when I thought, I was out of the Iron Man game, Howard does and pulls this one off.
Yeah.
It just I got all the main Iron Man characters. Like I don't have like the Hall of Armors or anything like that with everyone, but I got every key Iron Man, but this one is just it's so good.
Yeah, this is aside from the normal bullshit people say, like it's another Iron Man, oh, it's another Iron Man, oh, it's another Iron Man. I mean, if you take that notion out and just kind of throw that to the side, this is just I mean, I'm not trying to gush over it, but it's just such an unbelievable looking suit. And shout out to Monica, because Monica tipped me and a few others off about this, and I think I sent you the photos too. And Denobi, I did tell you this because Monica told me the day before, or like that morning of, like, hey man, Mark II's coming. But he was very much like, the intel was like, it's the quarter scale. And I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be the quarter scale. All right. They teased it before. It's not gonna be totally unexpected. You know, we've seen this on the coming soon page. You know, all right, it's gonna be and I think last year they did the Mark 6 quarter scale was debuted on January 1st as well, 1st or 2nd. So it's like, all right, there was a pattern here. And then hours later, because I remember messaging, I feel like an idiot. I'm like, wait a minute, new intel coming in. It's going to be 6 scale and it's going to be chrome. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I like that a lot more. And that's awesome. And, and sure enough,
what's going to be devastating for the Iron Man collectors is when Hot Toys starts to reissue, do 2.0s of the quarter scales, but in diecast.
Do you think that's really going to happen?
Oh, I know that's going to happen.
Oh man, Denobi's about having. I mean, Denobi's starting to sweat.
there's a lot of things I'll give, like, you know, I'll hate on Hot Toys for, like, for not doing the Falcon cockpit, or not doing the Justice League, or Batmobile, 66 Batmobile. Like a lot of the figures, like they didn't do Vulture. And
I'm still holding out for Vulture. I'm still holding out for him. I thought he was going to be, if you put a gun to my head about what the end of the year banger was going to be, I wanted it to be Vulture, but it seems like Iron Man is kind of like he's brought out in big events. End of the year, summer showcase, you could expect an Iron Man. I wanted the Vulture really bad. Like,
yeah, I'm only waiting for like the only Vulture I'm going to get would be the one that Hot Toys puts out.
The Michael Keaton one. They don't even, I'm even okay if they don't give us a Michael Keaton sculpt at this point. Like, if it has to do something with like getting a sculpt together or whatever it was, I don't even need a Michael Keaton sculpt because I probably wouldn't use it anyway. Oh, I might. Who knows?
Oh, I definitely want a Michael Keaton sculpt.
So, but I'm saying is, like, if I had a choice between you get a Vulture with no head sculpt of Michael Keaton, or I would just give me the Vulture with just as is, and I'll, you know, because he's key to my Sinister Six. Like, when I think of Sinister Six, I think of Vulture too.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm missing for the Sinister Six there.
Yeah.
And so, but also, well, no, I didn't get the base for Sandman, but no, hopefully I still have hopes I can eventually pick that up.
Denobi says it's been discussed a while back on groups. Doing a die cast in quarter scale would be extremely expensive. The tooling is what does it. Counter.
And how's that any different than what they did for the Hulkbuster? You know, the tooling and everything from that. It's like, I mean, they got the molds and everything. It's there. It's just now diecast. And it gives Hot Toys an excuse to make a more exclusive line. And if it comes out at like $800-900, Iron Man collectors are going to buy it.
And Brad brings up a good point. He says, I see Hot Toys rescaling every Iron Man, including the Iron Mongler. It's a very good point. He brings that up, actually. He segued right into something which was interesting. So a point of this, because obviously, Sean, there's always got to be hate, right? Nothing can just be generally accepted by the community. There's always got to be a sprinkle of hate in there somewhere, right? So obviously, the figure comes out great. For me, I did pre-order this one already. Got it great. And what I'm going to do is, I personally, when I started collecting, I never thought I'd have a chance at doing the Hall of Armor, like the original 7. I have every one of them either on order or I have it in my collection, minus the Mark 1, which I'm waiting to get a good deal on that because I'm not paying retail for that figure. It's not worth the money now. But I got to get the Mark 1, and then I have to chase down the Mark 4. I don't even need it with the gantry. I just need the Mark 4, and then I have my Hall of Armor. So that is kind of what my goal is. But what I do eventually want to do is take this figure and take the head sculpt and make a Kit Bash Tony Stark and have kind of like the Hall of Armor behind him, and then have him standing in the center, either in a suit, whatever it is, you know, and have an actual Kit Bash Tony Stark. That is what because I love Iron Man is my favorite all-time Marvel movie. So I love this era of Iron Man from the original, even the Iron Man 2. So I want to do a kit bash. The collector number one, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing great. Thank you. Denobi says Hulkbuster was not toted as a die-cast line figure. It had limited die-cast components for structural integrity. I mean, I don't see why they can't do that with a quarter scale, right? You basically do like, you know, I mean, you have to pick an armor, but say the Iron Man Mark, well, they like the Mark 1, how they had select pieces that were die cast to, I think, what is it? Like a certain percentage of a figure has to have die cast in order for them to label it as die cast. It has to be over a percentage threshold. I don't remember what that is exactly, but
yeah, I can't remember the exact percentage, but yeah,
it's got to be over for them to be able to label it, you know, kit bash equals junk food. You know, every so often you're allowed to cheat. All right. So, but getting back to what Brad, I believe, has said is that he said about them resizing everything, right? So the only hate that I saw, and I say hate, I'm saying it jokingly, is this photo here, where it shows them basically showing the new approximate size difference in the 2.0 to the MS 431. And, you know, I kind of peeking around, people say, oh, it's out of scale. It doesn't make sense. You know, doing the math, 32.5 compared to this makes Robert Downey Jr. like this height. He's like 5'7". It doesn't make sense. You know, like everything, right, Sean? Like back and forth, like all this stuff about the height. The only thing that I was thinking in my head was it's the last of the original 7. So we knew that this was coming, whether you like it or not. Like like Hot Toys had a plan in mind. You know, I think everyone can correct me. I'm not trying. I think the Mark IV was like the 4, the 5, and then they did the 7. Like you kind of knew something was going on with the original 7. Like they were going to go back and revisit these figures and give us a Hall of Armor in a way. And so people are kind of sitting over here talking about the resizing, like, oh, it's not the scale. What? So what I decided to do was, this information is based on Sideshow's website. So if I'm wrong, Sideshow is wrong. I double checked it, but I turned around and made this little graphic here. Yes, I spent my time making this graphic today. And what I did was, it's basically the Iron Man's Mark 1 through 7, and it's the height. And if you notice here, it's touted at 32.5 centimeters, which translates to 12.79. I'm going to jump back real fast. And you see here how small it is. Well, there's your Mark III, which we knew that it should be the same because it's literally the same suit, 32.5. Here is the original Mark. Well, I say the original, the Mark IV with gantry, like the die-cast one. It's 32 centimeters. It's 12.5 inches. The Mark V, it's 32.5. I even included the suit up, which is 31. The Mark VI, which is brand new, 2.0, is 32 centimeters. The Mark VII, which everyone loves, it's 32.5. And then if you move over to Tony Stark, this is the Mark VII suit up. He's 31 centimeters. And then the Mark I is listed at 32 centimeters. So all I'm saying is everyone loves visuals. Everyone loves graphics. It's captivating. But all I'm saying is within a little bit of reason, everything looks to be in line for what they were trying to do. Now, you can argue and say it's all bullshit, like, oh, they're still too high. But what I'm trying to say is they kind of laid the precedence with the original 7. As long as the original 7 were somewhat in line that made sense, I think that's what Hot Toys cared about. Now, whether or not it's accurate to canon or whatever it is, that's like a whole separate conversation. All I'm saying is that, like, I was curious to know that, Sean, and I legitimately did not know until I did this today. I was like, how off is this one of that one? Because if you remember when the Mark I came out, people criticized that one. Like, oh, it doesn't look like it's the right one. Uh-oh. Oh, Sean.
What? Oh.
All right, here we go, people. Let's
talking Iron Man. This is Denobi's realm.
Yeah. So let me all right, hang on. The man he wants one, so I gotta send an invite. Hold on. Instagram. So here we go. Invite being sent.
But it was that one video, the one graphic that you showed, the side-by-side comparison. When I was scrolling through, I was like, iffy, okay, do I really need this? And then when it came to that photo where it showed the original Mark II and the new die-cast, like the die-cast chrome version, I was like, oh god, now I gotta get it.
Yeah. Yeah, hang on a second. Why is it my there we go. I'm just sending I don't know if he wants an invite. Paste. All right. Sent. But so that's what I was saying. Hey, Kaju, slow down. I was saying, but this is my whole point, Sean, is that like I was just seeing, people saying like, out of scale, out of scale. Like I said, you can argue the whole 7 are out of scale. That's fine. I don't mind. Like that's a whole other argument for another day. All I'm saying is Hot Toys had a plan. It seemed like that they're going to fall in line with most of the figures. And then I did consult Denobi, by the way, because if you scroll down here, I was wondering if we were going to get a 2.0 of this, the actual Hall of Armor from Iron Man Mark III. And I reached out to Denobi. I was like, hey, man, I was like, what's the size of these things? Like, do these things fit in there? And he's like, dude, they fit. They're like perfect. And I actually pulled up, these are the specs here. They're saying that these are approximately 38 centimeters tall, 23 wide, 17 deep. And this is from Iron Man 3. And so here's the man, the myth. He is here.
I'm here.
What's up, man?
I'm here for a bit. I heard Iron Man. I'm like, oh, you know what?
The spider sense was tingling.
I miss Iron Man. I really do. I miss.
Yeah, you haven't talked about the Mark II yet, so it's like might as well just jump in on it. So, but like I said, I made this graphic because I talked to you today about this, and I was like, damn, I was wondering if these things legitimately would fit in the Hall of Armor, and the numbers look like they pan out. But like I said, I made this graphic up here, and people were complaining about the Mark II being so much taller than the previous version of it. To me, it looks like everything's kind of falling in line to where they make sense when they're lined up. I mean, within a little bit of reason.
It's a very tight fit. So what it is that you almost have to spread their legs a little bit so that their helmet isn't touching the actual Hall of Armor. So the Hall, if you have it plugged in, so you see, so this photo right here, these are the old suits. These are
not the new ones.
Exactly.
This is from Iron Man 3 when this came out. Yeah, I put the retail price $770 on Sideshow.
Yeah. So so the 2.0s can actually fit in the old version of the Hall of Armor, but the problem is that
I think it'll look out scale though.
It's not only out of scale, but it's also the lighting, because there's a little LED diode right in the center of the Hall of Armor, and if the helmet is way too close to it, it doesn't blend right. So it's not going to look aesthetically pleasing. Now, the Hall of Armor was reissued just several years back, and I remember that's one of the things that I griped about, is that you're reissuing the Hall of Armor, but you're not fixing some of the common known issues and problems with the Hall of Armor. And it really pissed me off. And I had, you folks out there know I had the 4-layer, 4-story, and I sold them. I sold them just because it wasn't working properly in my collection. They weren't, I don't think they did a very good job in protecting the suits. They didn't look aesthetically pleasing. It didn't look proper in them. Also, you couldn't properly light the Hall of Armors correctly. It was very half-assed. Yeah. So it had a lot of issues, and then it had faulty connectors with the Hall of Armor. Like there's just a list. Like I shit you not, there's like a list of issues with this Hall of Armor, the actual set of 7. Like there's just a ton of problems with it. So the fact that they went down this path of bringing back the 2.0 suits, which I'm a big fan of, but they kind of ignored or neglected the original Hall of Armors that were introduced to the public in 2013. That Hall of Armor was that design was introduced over 10 years now. And then 7 years later, they reissued it in 2018, 2019.
They go for, TX Boy is not wrong. Honestly, I went on eBay. Things going for like $900 and no one's, it's going for, I contemplated it like, oh, I'm gonna get a Hall of Armor. Like, I wonder how much this thing's going for. Now I'm hoping they just do a new, an updated version of it.
Yeah, when you have the original 7, when you're committed to the original 7 suits, it's all about appearance. It's all about the display. It's all about that look, that iconic look. Even though the MCU right now is probably not in its best healthiest state. This Hall of Armor, this 7, it represents a simpler time, a more joyous time, so that if you are collecting these suits, you definitely, I mean, they're expensive. I mean, Jesus, what, $500, $455?
Did you pre-order the Mark II?
I have not. I don't. I don't think
Do you
I
plan
have.
to eventually at one point?
I don't even think I have to, because the Iron Man suits, I always can get a, like, for example, I have the Mark III. I scored a very good deal through a local comic book shop, not local, but through an online shop, where I got free shipping and no tax.
Yeah.
So the Iron Man suits are very different. They're not like the other stuff that you have to religiously pre-order. So I don't know if I have to pre-order the Mark II. And it's that, here's the problem. I have a personal goal of trying to keep my Google spreadsheet under 30, and I think I'm at 26 right now. And that is
You're teetering.
yeah, that's my safety net. That's my structural integrity. That's my field, my bubble. That what happened to a lot of the folks this holiday season, I came out kind of unscathed. It didn't really bother me because I didn't paint myself into a corner. So that Mark II at 450, it's a $500, right? Tax and shipping. Let's just round it off. It's a 500.
The Mark II for me with Sideshow out the door is 508.
There you go.
I pre-ordered him from another place. I don't want to. We're not naming our places,
No,
but I also got him from another place that it cost me 430 out the door.
Yes.
So that's a huge. Like I can't justify buying Iron Man from Sideshow in general. I can't do it.
No,
for me,
you're right. You're absolutely right, and I will back you up on that. So the price doesn't bother me. It's the sticker price and the uncertainty. I can't have a surprise $500 invoice just show up.
Yeah.
No, because that, again, not, retreading during the holidays, and that's what got a lot of folks in trouble during. I was very well aware. I didn't, I wasn't very active on YouTube, but I was absolutely very well aware that the holidays were just.
That's how Sean and I opened it up. I mean, if you saw my thumbnail, like I said, the thumbnail to my stream is the Negan from The Walking Dead. If are we pissing our pants yet? Because that's what that's how. I mean, and I told Sean, and him and I agreed. Talking about it and living through it are two different things. I mean, I'm not shocked. It was like invoice.
Mm-hmm.
But going through it is tough. Like Sean was telling me, we were just comparing what we got coming in today, and I'm waiting on invoices for the Batman. And I gotta say, guys, do either one of you have the Batman on pre-order?
Yeah, I do.
You do, right?
Yeah, with the one with the bat signal version.
You have that. Denobi, do you have the Batman on pre-order?
Oh God, no. I know that. No. I will be getting them. I absolutely, but no, I do.
I have.
Yeah.
No, but I have to say though, and I mean, I know it's just kind of jumping around. I'm watching a lot of videos. Dean Knight's putting out a bunch of videos on. It is a very unbelievable looking figure. Like it really, like Hot Toys really, like I haven't seen anybody say anything negative about that figure. I am damn impressed with that Batman figure. Like I'm really impressed with that figure. Like it looks really awesome looking. And I'm really excited.
One of the things you were saying earlier when we were talking about what's coming and everything, you mentioned a few times like how you're it's kind of like a blessing almost, like that some of these things get delayed.
Yeah.
For like it's a catch-22 because like when I order these, I have a certain budget, and I kind of budget like, okay, this is how many POs I know invoices I can have in this area, and what's coming down the line. And what gets really messy for me is when stuff gets delayed.
Yeah.
And then everything just drops, and it's just like,
I'm pretty sure I've scolded you on this, Ryan. I don't believe that delays are a blessing. I think you've told me that. I'm like, no.
Oh no, I believe in. I mean, they're good and they're bad, but you're playing a dangerous game because, in my opinion, and I said this to Sean, it's like layers of a lasagna or a cake. Because a delay means that, like, for example, the Batman's delayed. I have it on order. Toby's delayed. I have it on order. Dead Strange is delayed. For all I know, those could be 3 layers of a cake that go boom, 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 all at the same time. And it's like, shit. Or I can get them all spread out in 3 months, and there's no question. So it's more negative than it is positive. It really is.
I don't see anything good. I don't see anything positive. I 100% see it, and I've told this to you, Nate, and a few others. It is 100% like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
You keep sandbagging all of this stuff to a specific date. That's typically the ingredients for a collector to get frustrated and eventually potentially tap out.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's 100% awful. And it's one of the, and I kind of saw this early last year. I'm like, it's still trending like 125 pre-orders on Sideshow.
Oh, yeah,
when you have that amount, the math just tells you want to tread extremely careful, and you also want to add a little bit of cushion for outside influence. Outside influence meaning you kids out there love your InArts and your Queen Studios and all this other, even me HasLabs, right? You still want to.
Oh, your Ghost Trap, right? How many
Ghost Trap, there you go. So you still want to keep a certain level of cushion available open. Never paint yourself. I can do the budget and max it. No, because there's always going to be a surprise. There's always
Sideshow as of right now, 111 6-scale figures on pre-order for Sideshow. 111. You can see my filters.
Oh, we actually finally got down under 120. So that's because
111. I got rid of quarter scale and everything. 6-scale.
Okay, I was gonna say. Because last I did it, it was still trending over 100.
No, if you do if you include the quarter scales and like other stuff, it'll bump it back up into the 120s. Yeah, it's still there. But I'm just talking 6-scale figures, just to vehicles get this 111. But yeah, people. I mean, there's waiting for Wolverine, like I said, waiting for Vader, Wolverine, and the InArt Batman. I mean, Wolverine, like I said, those invoices should be going out. People should be getting them. Vader. I don't know if you're referring to the Obi-Wan Vader or the 40th anniversary Vader. And the InArt Batman, you know what? If you know when the InArt Batman's coming out, then you got a better chance of winning the lottery at this point, because I have no idea when that thing is coming out, because InArt just releases stuff when they want to. So
and even then, it's going to come out, and then it's going to be like a batch of 10 or 15, and then it's going to be.
Well, they'll do is they'll release them at a certain point to say they get. Well, you got to remember, you go through the influencer batch, and then you go through batch A, B, C, D, E, and F, and G, and then you might eventually get one. Buzz Lightyear. I mean, I want my Buzz, and see, should have my 22 Jazz Inc. and a few. Yeah, I mean, what's funny? I mean, Sean, because I know Sean, you said you have to jump out in like 20 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Why not? I think we have.
Is a community online on Facebook? Is everybody pretty happy about the 2.0 Iron Man suits? Is that?
The general consensus I've seen, I mean, I'm not in a lot of the groups, to be honest with you, but a lot of the feedback I got is that it's what it is, Denobi, where it's like, oh shit, it's another Iron Man. Why? But yet the ingenuity of the figure, people love it. But it's a matter of literally like, why another Iron Man? And that's what I was telling Sean about this, is like, when we got this figure, it's like, you don't have to like it. I mean, there's nothing you can criticize about it. It seemed like it was kind of mixed reaction. The biggest negative is like, geez, it's another Iron Man. It's another Iron Man. But in my opinion, it was bound to happen because we needed to complete the original 7 with the 2.0s and stuff. So I wasn't like shocked by it. It was just a matter of like, okay, we got it. Now here we go. This is what it is. Yeah. And so is what it is. But speaking of, I'm not sure, Brad said he's waiting on his 22. Well, someone got their 22. I know this was actually filmed probably a couple days ago, but our boy here, Adam Savage, Denobi, did you see this video yet, or no? You haven't watched it?
No, I wouldn't watch this. No.
Well, you're gonna suffer through. You're gonna suffer through it for a few minutes because I want to get your live.
Unless I'm being like cornered in, like now, that's the only. When I see things like this with Adam Savage, I just see.
I cringe. I personally cringe. I had this
cringe because it's a commercial, and I don't believe anything they both say, and they're acting.
No, I muted this video. Like I muted parts of it because I was like, Adam Savage is notorious for like breaking stuff on every unboxing he does. He broke the Ghost Trap when he was doing the Ghost Trap demo. Like the screen popped out of it and broke. And Norm is always trying to like explain what's going on, and Savage is like, "Screw this! I'm just gonna rip the box open."
You sent me a clip, and I almost fell over when they're still playing that narrative. Well, this is a mom and pop shop, and I'm kind of
Yeah,
sick
I
and
saw
tired of
that too.
I'm kind of sick and tired of that narrative. Like they need to stop that shit.
Yeah.
The mom and pop, like no, because when you say things like that, it's an excuse so that when they find a flaw or a discrepancy or something that's wrong, well, you know, it's a mom and pop shop. They need to stop with that shit.
Well,
I can't watch that.
Well, the reason why I was watching this was Sean, because so Sean, that's where I kind of want to. We'll wrap it up with you at this point, a few minutes. So, like I said, the '89 Batmobile, as of now, I think they're putting it up for January 12th. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me. I'm not trying to spread like a false narrative about that. I just know that it was originally at a certain point, then it got extended to January 12th of the pre-order. And like I said, you have not yet pre-ordered this thing, but you do own some Jazz Inc stuff, and you've talked to me about it before. So, like, do you see yourself doing the 89? Probably the date, like even like the last day of it, or what's stopping you from doing the 89? I mean, that might sound like a silly question, you know, in terms of that, but what's kind of holding you off on the 89 at this point?
The price.
Yeah.
So I'm not, you know, I have this on pre-order.
The 22. You have the
22, yeah. And so, and I'm, you know, and I'm, what was it? I have waiting till it, well, a lot of them ship, and I'm waiting for the last batch before I finish my, I think I owe like $200 left, and I'm just leaving it at $200 for a last payment for,
yeah.
So like, cause now they're sending, now Jazz Inc is setting out like, okay, now you got to do monthly payment. You got to make sure you do your monthly payments on this now.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, and probably in about, probably 2 more months from now, I'll complete it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that should put me in the last batch category.
Now, for you being someone, I just want to pick your brain real quick. For someone that you have this on order, you watched this video today, you talked about it. Was there anything that, like, and like I said, this is me coming from a rookie person that, you know, I'm still pre-ordering the 89, I have paying payments on it. Was there anything here that turned you off about it or made you concerned about it amongst the obvious things that, you know, obviously for the, you want it to come in great condition, you know, nothing broken, but was there anything here that you saw that kind of like stood out, like, ooh, like, like, or were you kind of just, you wash it through and you're like, all right, no big deal. It's still what it is.
For me, it's the paint and weathering.
Now, did you get the weathered version, quote unquote, or the clean version? Because this is
I got the weathered version, but in hindsight, I probably should have got the clean.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, and I do know there's some issues about getting the figure to actually sit in the car. You have to take his feet off.
Yeah, because I think they were saying they weren't trying to. Well, like I said, the scaling. I mean, we saw photos of that stuff in terms of the figure not being able to fit in the car 100%. But yeah, I was just curious for someone like you that had it on order. I forgot that you had it on order. In terms of seeing this video, like, was there anything that? And no, they didn't do any serious 4K blasting to Toby. There wasn't anything. I mean, you see these little shots here, but it's very dark, and you know, you're not really kind of
it's pretty
uncovering
dark.
any. Sean was saying, I think before when he was watching this video, he was just thinking of your voice in his head saying, "No 4K, no 4K."
I actually saw a few impurities, nothing to raise the alarm, but I saw a lot of the tool inseams.
Yeah.
When you cast something and then there's that little piece of plastic, it usually has to be cleaned with labor. And I saw parts of that where it was just like ignored. I'll give you a perfect example. On this exact video here, the stick shift, the interior, there's a lot of tool inseams. And again, it's not the end of the world. It just means that labor wasn't applied to clean it up. You're supposed to sand it, maybe even use a little hobby knife and so forth.
What concerns me is right there when he does it. So I never said anything. I'm not trying to nitpick because, like I said, nothing's perfect. There's no 6-scale vehicle. It's perfect. We can say that, you know, the DeLorean had its issues, the Ecto, you know, Afterlife with the crooked stickers, all the one thing about this car I noticed on a lot of videos and stuff like that, and I think Savage, Sean, you said it also, is that right there is how loose that wheel is right there. Like, I was like, whoa,
yeah,
because that whole wheel.
And that's what pisses me off about that is that he knows that it's not structurally sound and he just skips over it.
Well, that was what
that wheel.
I said that to Sean. I'm like, was that like not connected to the axle or not connected to the steering wheel? He's like, no, it was loose. And I saw that when he picked it out of the box, the wheel was dangling. And I'm like, that did concern me because then I asked Sean, I was like, that car is going to collapse Like,
Yeah, because it's kind of like a promo comp situation. So he's not going to bite the hand that feeds him, so that he can keep getting more. And again, I don't blame Adam for this, but what this is, I don't watch these things because it's a control narrative,
yeah, of
because
course.
you're not ever going to get the full truth out of it.
No, absolutely not. I was just curious to see, like I said, audio muted because Adam Savage gives me a headache when I listen to him talk. But like, even like, it was just, I saw the wheel and I was like, whoa, because like when he took the car out of the box, the wheels dangled like they were loose a little bit. And like I said, I'm not, here, I'm seeing what I see. And I'm not trying to raise anything or start a huge fight back and forth. It's just, like I said, it's something that was obvious that I saw, and I was like, damn. And I said something to Sean, like, am I crazy? He goes, and I think Sean agreed with me. He's like, no, it was loose. It 100%
like
was.
even the door, it just. Okay, so what's the retail price on this? What is Jazz Inc asking?
1,600. But isn't it 1,599?
Plus, wait a minute. Are you
and then you add about 200 to 250 in shipping?
Okay, thank you. Don't sugarcoat it. So it's about
no.
Okay, so it's close. So it's a 2K vehicle, 2,000, close to 2,000.
Every vehicle I think every vehicle for a U.S. customer is between 18 to 2,000. I mean, the 89 Batmobile is what, 14, and then I'm assuming you add another 250 for shipping. So I'm projecting a $1,800 vehicle.
Is that so? Is Cigars Bacon correct? So if you want the smoke, it's a
$2,200 stock machine. Yeah, no thanks. I think he's being a little tongue in cheek there. No, the smoke and everything was included in everything. Like, that's built into it. That was the thing about it, is that when he was building the vehicles, same thing with the 89. See, I was following the 89 very through, and as he started getting more funding for the vehicles, he starts adding more bells and whistles to what he can do. Like, a lot of the community, which I was against for the 89, was he toyed with the idea of doing a mechanical cockpit that would open and close, and I'm like, please don't do that, because that's just something else. He shot that down. Everyone in the community wanted the 89 Batmobile to have a motorized cockpit, and I think me and Sean were like the only two that were like, please don't do that, because that's just something else that will break. Don't want it. Just give me the car. Like, I don't even care about the sound and the smoke.
Why is there blue blinking LEDs under the hood? What the fuck? What is all that shit about?
Yeah,
it didn't do that in the film.
It did. Yeah, it did. There was some like weird lighting.
It blinked like that in the film.
I don't think like that. I think they were just lit.
See, I'll play ignorance. It's a badass looking car, and Norma even says it. He's like, you don't really see a lot of up close of this car. And when he was looking at it, like, I didn't even know, not to be stupid, I didn't even know there's no passenger seat in the car. It's a one-seater. I didn't know that. Like, I never really.
I only knew that because of the Mattel Batmobile I had.
I didn't know that. Yeah, so I didn't know that it was a one-seater. I mean, it's cool. I love the design of the vehicle. I'm not talking about like necessarily, and like, look at that front tire though, man. Like that front wheel.
Yeah, that looks.
Who here is? Are you, Ryan? Are you getting this vehicle?
No.
No, I'm getting it.
You're getting it? Oh,
yeah. So I got the whole Batman Patterson line. I got the whole thing. So like I just, and I don't know. I love this Batmobile because it's kind of based off an old Camaro.
Now, like, this is one, like, I have the 89 from Jazz Inc and Hot Toys. If Hot Toys did this version, and I know they've teased it before, I would get the Hot Toys one, because this car is a badass looking car, but it's not enough for me to spend the money on it. Like, it's just me personally. Like, for me, the 89 is my ultimate Batmobile, my one and only. That's just for me.
And I'm like the reverse on, like, because for the 89, it's 89 is definitely the best Batmobile. Well, next to the 66. Is the most iconic and is one of the most iconic vehicles in the world. But the 89 is just, it's an amazing looking Batmobile, and to pay $2,000 to get something that, okay, was an inch longer, quarter of an inch wider, and to say it's the most accurate, do I really need to pay $2,000 when I'm already, when I got that Batmobile when it was like $600?
Yeah, this is the size difference. No, that's fair, because I remember seeing your video about that in terms of the length on it, and so that's supposed to be the prototype versus the Hot Toys one. So no, that's a fair argument. Absolutely, 100%.
I will say though, the paint that he's using on this is night and day better than Hot Toys plastic version.
Is that his dad doing painting again? I thought he was kept out of the paint room. What?
He kept him out. Well, he's painting solid black here, so it shouldn't be. There's no pinstriping on this one. So, I mean, it does look. I mean, yeah, like I said, it does. The paint does look nice on, but like I said, I have to, have to see the final prototype to see what it,
Did he? Okay, he's not using cheap ABS I mean, the resin, right? He's using like real ABS plastic, like Hot Toys. Has anybody been able to confirm that? Is he still like resin? I don't know. I'm so skeptical about this shit aging properly.
Well, I know how, like, when we had the Justice, like, well, I still have it, but when you had yours, Denobi, it was just one big solid block of resin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I got the 66, it's a different game. He used a whole completely different process. It's not near as heavy. It's a hell of a lot lighter, man. That the first gen versions of the Justice League Mobile, you'll break your back trying to lift that thing.
It was rough.
It's a heavy sucker.
Yeah.
And he had a die cast to this thing too.
Yeah, there was some die cast pieces.
A lot of die cast, like over 20 something die cast, various die cast parts on it.
So this is 2K too. So if you want this one, this will be with shipping 2K.
This is 1400 plus whatever the shipping is, which I'm assuming the shipping is like $250. I'm assuming.
Is it 14 or is it 14.99?
Let's be accurate. 14.99.
All right, so it's 15.
So 15, 16, 17. So you're talking like 1800. And we're making an assumption that the shipping's 200, 250. I mean, I don't.
It's been averaging 200, sometimes a little bit more. So 200 is actually on the conservative side.
Yeah, I'm saying like 250 just to be nice about it. So I'm talking, 5, 6, 7. I'm 1800. Call it 1800. So. But I have to bail. So Sean actually has to leave. There you go, Sean. So I do appreciate you stepping in.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And just one last thing about the 80, like I'll probably so I still got 4 more days to hum and haw on that 89. So I can probably see myself just tossing a few bucks on it just to kind of get my name on there before it closes off, and then ride it out over the next over into 2025 and see how they actually come out, and if I give it up. But if it turns out to be awesome, and if I see like that 66 Batmobile was actually kind of surprising, the fact that I was one of the last people that was able to get in on it before he closed it. And what's interesting is that it right now I could sell that for, I think, double the price than what I paid for it. Like
which
what
one?
it for on eBay.
Which one?
The 66.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, people just started going crazy for it. So I really don't have any regret for that whatsoever. And plus, the 66 is my favorite Batmobile, so I'm a sucker for it. So yeah, I think I still paid too much for it, but I'm glad it's in my collection.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's all that matters.
I have the feeling that the 89 is probably going to be like the same. It's going to be in the same boat. I think that's probably, once it gets out, it's a good chance it gets explode. And not to be so harsh, being a first time owner of starting from the very beginning with Jazz Inc, his products were pretty rough, but he's gotten better. But the only thing is like the cost.
Well, if you're a US
versus what you actually get, and there's no more mom and pop pass on that. That's he's got a license on those cars. They got to come out perfect.
Yeah.
And especially at that cost point. Well, they get no mistakes.
Well, that's one thing I know, Sean, you got to go. And that's one thing I want to talk about is, I mean, it always raise a question is that, we talk about collectors and standards and stuff in terms of when you spend a kind of money, it's like, do your standards go up? And I think they should. Like for me, I'm getting the Hot Toys Batmobile and the Jazz Inc. They're on two totally different levels of quality standard, because I'm paying $700 for one, and I know what I'm getting with Hot Toys, so they're going to get a pass on a few things. Jazz Inc, I'm paying $2,000, and my standards are up here, and there's going to be less of a pass on the car, meaning that there's a little bit of a paint defect. For that amount of money, it should be spotless, immaculate. And same thing with like in-art Jokers and stuff. Same thing, honestly. You spend more J&D Jokers, you spend more, I think your standards should go up. So, but Sean, it was great.
That's it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we'll
Good
talk
seeing
soon,
you,
man.
Kenobi. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
I'll see. I'll hang up for a little bit. I have to. I'll probably have to leave in about 10 or so, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can spend the last 10 minutes because you haven't streamed for a minute, so you can play catch up and see what's going on with you. So kind of filling in. Like people said, you're alive. I know you've been streaming. You haven't been streaming as much. You've been I think I'll take Sean out. I think.
All right, later, guys.
Are you there? Oh, I thought you froze.
No, I'm good.
So
Have a good one.
I'll talk to you later, Sean. But yeah, so here, we'll finish up the last couple minutes. But yeah, what's been going on in terms of
yeah, well, so it just during like a whole month of December,
story.
I just had some time with the holidays off, and I was just outdoors. I was just doing a lot of camping, hiking, and just not really paying attention to my collection. And now that holidays are over, just like I'm overwhelmed. That was something too that I didn't find very enjoyable about the holidays. Is just it felt very overwhelming for me. Just like I'm down to 5 now, but at one point, right before New Year's Eve, I had like 10 items I hadn't even opened up yet. And I mean, it's one of the reasons why Electro finally, like I've had Electro for about 2 months. I had Electro in October, and I'm like, and I didn't want to open up my Electro figure because I knew I was going to be like, oh, this is, if I open this guy up, I'm going to want to USB hack him. And I knew that it was just going to it was very time consuming. But the fact I was able to knock out the USB hacked Electro in about 2 days, was actually pretty impressed because
it was good work. It was a lot of good. You added micro LEDs to it, right?
I added micro LED, yeah, and I added a couple of different types of light, and because that was something that for me, Electro just it needs to look alive. It needs to look electrical. It needs to look like there's power coursing through him.
Yeah.
So I know I do my job right with USB hacking when people tell me like, wow, I can't look at my own Electro now. My Electro looks very different than yours. I was like, well,
did you do Mysterio yet or no?
Mysterio is actually on the table right now because
he's in the queue.
he's in the queue because I want to do a group shot. I want to do a Sinister Six photo of all the ones I've done together, powered up. That's Electro, that's Doc Ock, that's Green Goblin with a sled, right? And they all require power. So to have them all together for like a group photo, it should look pretty epic. I got this guy last week, and I'm like, oh, when do I open this guy? I've had him just for about a week right now.
Oh, you do? Oh, you did get him.
No.
Oh wow! I have the first version. I skipped on it because I have the first version, which I like a lot, and I didn't.
I had him for about what's today? Today is
the 8th, Monday.
Monday. I got him. Oh, Tuesday. Last week Tuesday. Yeah. So I haven't opened them up yet. Because I'm still rearranging the Spider-Verse display, and I want to make sure that he has a home. No, I'm getting everything with the PS5 is coming home. I've kind of boycotted Star Wars right now.
I'm really hoping that we get that. Was it the anti-Venom suit, the white and black, the final suit that he used at the end of the movie? I really hope that we get that one as a gorgeous looking suit. I really.
They're all. I have them all so far. I don't think I've missed any of the PS4 suits, or I'm up to par with the PS5. They're just. To me, they're fun. I haven't pre-ordered Toby here because he's 3 SKUs, and this version of Toby Maguire with the Venom, I don't care which one I get as long as I get one. He can have the pedestal or without, but the fact that there's 3 different SKUs, I know he's going to sit there for quite a while. So there's no sense of urgency for me on.
What are your thoughts? So we say the Mark II, like we said, we talked about that one.
Mark II is coming home. I mean, he's
right here.
The Sicarian Iron Man, that's coming home. I think I have all the What If characters. I haven't even seen the show yet. I canceled my Disney Plus back in November, so I don't even know how this suit. To me, I find this particular Iron Man fascinating because he doesn't have an arc reactor, so his evolution here is very different. So I'm just curious to know how he's powered up, because if he's not using his fusion reactor, how is his suit being powered? Because that was the whole idea of Iron Man. But no, I think it looks cool. Moving into 2024, every new pre-order announcement is probably going to be a small batch and go into waitlist quickly.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were talking to. That's what I was talking to Sean about with Dead Strange. Is that I like that one a lot. It's really not, you can't like Dead Strange is a good example. It's like I think it's a figure that you can't hate on it. I think the overall reaction was it was cool, just not for them because it's a dead character. It's very different. It's just something that doesn't fit in the collection, which is completely fair. It's not everything's gonna fit. But it's interesting because I actually checked it out and it's like it's still on waitlist from it's still on pre-order from Sideshow, which I think it's going to go in stock. And that's a figure that I do like that piece a lot. I actually wouldn't mind adding that to the collection. It's just that I'm wondering if play the weight game on that one a little bit and see if maybe that can sit a little while on Sideshow just because of that price. That there's other priorities that are more important, like Toby, things like that. Are more important than Dead Strange to me.
I've kind of closed off Doctor Strange. I don't want any more Doctor Strange characters.
I don't have any Doctor Strange. I sold my Infinity, so I do need a Strange. I need I need a Doctor Strange, but if I get Dead Strange, I still need a regular Strange. So I'm not. But he's a character for me. I said to Sean, I don't need 14 of them. I need one Doctor Strange.
That's it.
Call it a day.
I have the Infinity War Doctor Strange, and I'm fine. I go, he's a cool character, great accessories. Move it along. I don't need multiple representations of Doctor Strange. The Zombie Strange at one point, I was really interested in it.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. I don't know if I want to add that type of horror element. I don't have much. I don't have any horror element.
I don't have anything. And it actually makes people wonder, like, if you had Morbius on order, it would pair really nice with Morbius if you had a nice little grouping with him. So, but
I have Morbius on pre-order, but that's only because he's part of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Anti-Venom suit. Yeah, I have Venom, the PS5 Venom. I do have him on pre-order just because I suspect he's going to go on the wait list very quickly. I'm done with the Disney Plus Star Wars schlock. I'm not buying anything from the Kenobi show. I don't even give a shit about the Vader Kenobi.
I'm sure you're loving Ahsoka.
I've never even seen an episode of Ahsoka. I'm not touching. And the fact that everybody's, wooed over Ahsoka, cool. I look, if you guys enjoy the show, great. I have no interest in it. I honestly have no opinion with Ahsoka because I wasn't even interested in watching the show.
What about the PS5 black suit?
That's coming home. That's on pre-order.
Absolutely love this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Venom is on pre-order.
C3PO,
Return of the Jedi.
He's slated. He's in that. He's in that April, September. But they have.
You know what? This is such an oddity because he should be waitlist already. The fact that he's already being toted, like he's coming out really fast.
And he's not with Vader. That's what Sean said. Sean said it's interesting in that group photo that we have the 3PO, not Return of the Jedi Vader. So it's 3PO coming out first from Return of the Jedi, and not they were both announced together. So.
And it would make kind of sense since C3PO really technically doesn't change. This is what you're really getting is clearly a paint application upgrade from the Attack of the Clones C3PO. Plus you're getting, actually there's a little bit of R&D with the helmet for his eye socket. So there's a little bit of R&D on there. And then you have Salacious Crumb on there and so forth. But it would make sense that they would be able to pop this out in under a year, right? This is 10 months.
And then the other thing about it,
release, the
other thing Sean said was interesting is that in that photo we had Padme, but we didn't have Anakin and Mace, which leads to believe he thinks that they might be delayed too, because they were in that group photo from So
that's a cool photo. That photo really is the only clue we have from Hot Toys is kind of telling us like, hey, this is what's coming. And as a photo, is it the first quarter, right? That's the first 3 months of the year. It's not till January, February, March. It's till March, right? This is the next couple months, right? Isn't it just the first quarter?
Yeah.
It's not till we're gonna be getting this by February and March. So
maybe stop screen share real fast and bring up this. Pull up my window. There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, see, there's a lot there.
And also it's not even like it's a lot. It's expensive as shit.
It's expensive, yeah.
It's not even like quantity, yeah. Like they always show you like 10 plus figures. But like there's a difference between 10 figures that are like 200, 300 a piece. But like Strange is 400 plus. Buzz Lightyear, I think, was like 400, because it's
shipping and tax. Yeah.
Toby's 500. Black Adam is 400 plus.
I didn't touch
3PO's 400. I mean, there's a couple thousand. I mean, those clones aren't that expensive. They're Padme is like 280, whatever it is, but it's a lot
Yeah.
of dollars though. I mean, it's a lot.
There's a lot. There's 4 here that I'm 100% getting. Yeah. The 2 Asian soldiers. That's from a popular a Chinese
Yeah.
film. I had one point where looking at them just because I thought they were really cool. I'm not getting them. I'll be getting the troopers. Like the whole thing with the troopers. A lot of folks are getting overwhelmed with the troopers, clone troopers, and uh, that's a lot. I don't have any of those 2 clone troopers on pre-order. Do you?
No, I do not. No.
That's like Fox, right? Commander Fox, and the other one is the 501st.
I'm not a huge clone person.
Yeah.
I'm original Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't,
So I have, and then Shazam, not
Black
Shazam.
Adam. I have
Black Adam. I dodged him. Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
have Black Adam personally.
And then you have the 2.0 Catwoman with the new body, the new head sculpt, which I don't have her on pre-order, but I would like to get her if she sits and I can get her at a good deal. I'd like to get Catwoman.
I would like to get Catwoman. I don't have Bane on order, so I need to grab Bane, her, and I do have the Joker. So that way I have like the trinity of villains for the Dark Knight, thing. Yeah, just real quick, Cigars actually sent me. He reminded me, actually, he sent me a picture when he made the comment before about the $2,200 shipping. Warner Brothers, I don't know if you've seen this, Warner Brothers DC shop, they've been posting Jazz Inc vehicles for sale. Like you can buy Jazz Inc vehicles from DC's direct shop. They're actually charging $2,200 for the weathered version of the 2022 Batmobile. So when he says $2,200, he's referring to DC charging that, and that's insane. They're charging well, and I don't even think that's what that before shipping. Yeah, $2,200 before shipping, he says. So, I mean, if you get it from, it's sold out through Jazz Inc. and then you're going through DC and you don't know any better. Yeah, you're paying hundreds of more dollars, just for not knowing, which is nuts. So, thank you, CMB, for that little. Bane is waitlist. Yeah, I missed out on Bane. I'm gonna have to grab him from. See if he pops up. I think I'm on the wait list for that. Yukaju says use Denobi 2 code.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kajude.
Yeah. That's before tax too. So way over 2,200. Yeah, no, I saw that because I think they actually even had the Batwing, the 89 Batwing on their site. So that's right. But yeah, I have Catwoman, Toby, Padme, 3PO, and Black Adam. That's who I have. I didn't do Gore. I'm Love and Thunder. It can kiss my ass. No thanks.
I didn't touch
the Gore figure looks cool because it's Christian Bale. I like those unique because it's a Christian Bale, the character, but I pass.
Well, the battle droid is on there. I just noticed him right next to the super battle droid.
Yeah, he's not even. Yeah, I think he's still available on Sideshow. I think you could still get him.
I have 2 of them on pre-order.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you know what's funny? It's a shame because I never even talked about it with Sean. And while I got you for a few minutes, scroll up. Where was Celebrate? So, what are your? Just kind of. I guess we could wrap it up there before you got to go. Because what are your thoughts on this here? Because I didn't even talk to you like off to the side about this. So they played this video. Obviously, I'm beating this to death. December 31st, they put out this little video here, basically showcasing a couple things. Marvel 85 anniversary. They're highlighting 25th, episode 1, Phantom Menace, and they're also talking about.
I told Sean about this early last year. I told him, I go, next year is the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, and he swore up and down, hating as always, that we weren't going to get the Phantom Menace line. And the fact that I saw this video, I've been meaning to kick him in the shins. I told you.
I meant to bring it up with him.
He swore. It's like, oh, no one gives a shit about the Phantom Menace.
So let me ask you a question. What are your overall thoughts about, obviously I'm not trying to predict stuff, but like episode 1, I've watched people say stuff like, what could they do? This, that, and the other. Obviously I think the number one figure I've heard people talk about is they want a Padawan Obi-Wan. That's like the missing piece because we had Qui-Gon, we have Darth Maul, so we do need Obi-Wan. So that seems to be everyone's like, give us an Obi-Wan, that'd be fantastic. And then believe it or not, people hated Jar Jar Binks. People want Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I would support a Jar Jar Binks. I don't know if I would support a little Annie though. I don't know if
No, not the Anakin. I don't think of that, but an Obi-Wan Kenobi I would do, like an Obi-Wan.
I would
Obi-Wan.
do that. Of course, 50 points to Kaiju Daddy, 100% a Droideka.
Yes.
Absolutely. I would pre-order that. I would
do multiples. That I would
I
do
would do 2 of those. Yeah, with
Yeah.
the shield. Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I would do, yeah, the whole Droideka. Yeah, easy. I don't know if I would want a young Obi-Wan or little Annie. We don't need Darth Maul because we've got a DX Darth Maul from the Phantom Menace.
See, theories that I've heard were
Qui-Gon sat when Qui-Gon was released from
artisan Qui-Gon.
That could work. That could work. I just remember the Qui-Gon sat.
Oh, it's sad. I have him.
It sat for over a year. I remember
it
sat for a long ass time. I would want Padme, royal queen with the red dress, all lit up. That'd be a cool one to do. There's a few nitpicks out of the Phantom Menace, the droidekas. Battle droids, you can reissue battle droids from the Phantom Menace. That's an easy sell because we only have the battle droids from Attack of the Clones.
So, I was gonna say, because aren't they also painted differently from Attack of the Clones?
They're just painted differently. Yeah, so you can do a battle droid reissue. You can do the droideka. You can do the Royal Queen. I don't know if I would spend money on Watto there, though. I don't.
No, there's a lot like that stuff.
There's a lot of there's a lot of empty calories characters with the Phantom Menace. Like, remember, this is the return to Star Wars, and George Lucas purposely crammed a ton of friggin' characters simply for merchandising rights. He knew that. Right? Remember going to Taco Bell and you eat a taco and everything was just merch everywhere. So there's a lot. This is for Hot Toys. This is probably going to be one of their biggest challenges is which characters to make, because there's dozens of characters, especially with Adme. It seemed like every time you blink, she's wearing a different dress.
Yeah.
So I would 100% a 1/6 scale pod racer. That could be done. That's a small vehicle.
I think they'll give us another 3PO personally. I think you'll get this.
This right here would do really well.
Well, because this tells the story arc, because then you'd have him, you'd have Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
So you could have them as almost like a transition of, started out from this to Attack of the Clones, and then you have episode, you have like a Return of the Jedi version. So you can see a transition of
that would work. I would get C-3PO. I don't know, another R2. That's a tough one. The Royal Guards there. I don't know. See, again, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of empty calorie characters in the show.
Well, like Darth Maul, for example. Like, I don't think we need another Darth Maul.
They did a great job. Yeah, they did a great job. For a reason.
And they gave you the 2 SKUs with the speeder bike and not the speeder bike. You can only do a USB lightsaber, which at that point they'll 2.0. They'll reissue it for the sake of cash grab because people missed out on it.
Yeah, like a Boss Nass. We don't. There's just a lot of no. So they just need to be really careful. Another Obi-Wan. The problem is that there's already 2 SKUs. Actually, yeah, there's 2 SKUs right now on pre-order for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, I think this is what people want, is this younger version so they can do the triple threat.
We all want. The question is whether or not, when the invoice shows. Yeah. So
there you go. Well, it goes back to what I always say about the whole Return of the Jedi thing. I mean, I made a joke where I made a video, I think it was last week, where I talked about the teases of 2023 that we didn't get from Hot Toys. And I tongue in cheek, I put number 1 as Return of the Jedi because it wasn't Hot Toys. I think the community kind of thought they were getting a whole shit ton of stuff for Return of the Jedi, and Hot Toys very quickly reset those expectations. So I'm going into this with no expectations. Like, whatever we get, we get. I'm not sitting there thinking I want. Yes, if you tell me right now, what do you want? I'd say, give me Obi-Wan, give me a Jar Jar, and then whatever else we get, cool. Because, like you said, there's a lot of filler, and Return of the Jedi really shows that. Like I said, we didn't get a lot of stuff from there. Don't count your ducks before they your eggs before they hatch. Just be grateful for what you get and kind of go.
Especially Padme. I mean, it's like 7 or 8 different outfits.
Yeah, it would be the classic red one, like this one. I think I think
the
classic.
Damn. Look. I mean, they just talk about marketing. Like, George knew exactly what he was doing. Every time there was a different location. Do we need little? See, I'm concerned that they make little Anakin, but I would buy little Anakin if he comes with a pod racer.
Yeah,
That would make sense, right?
yeah,
With a little voice box that says wizard, just for shits.
yeah.
That would I would only get him with a pod racer. That would work. Get Sebulba, right? That's his
There you go.
counter. Yeah. So I mean, the pod racer again. Hot Toys has had great success making small vehicles, right? The speeder bikes, the Clone War speeder bikes, a waitlist sold out. So they do really well with speeder bikes. So to have a pod racer, I think would be really, really cool.
I'm just flipping through some photos.
Yeah, I just TC14. I would 100% buy TC14. Yeah. You know what we're getting it. We're getting another. I mean, remember they spent the money on the R&D on the protocol droid tool, and TC14 easily coming. That's an easy buy for me. Having that reflective chrome, that's easy. That's printing money right there with the Phantom Menace badging.
And then, like I said, you have Marvel 85 years, which I'm pretty sure 85 was the comic. I know Batman was the comic, so people were sitting there saying for Batman. I think Batman they had 85 years. That's actually Batman's first appearance. Like that's the comic version. I was talking to Nate about that. I think he said something in the video. It'd be cool if they dipped into, because they did it with this. Oops, sorry. They gave you the Spider-Man comic. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a version like this of Batman, like Detective Comics, like his first appearance. Like they kind of teased that, and you got a comic book version, like a CMS Batman, for his 85. Because to be fair, like we're kind of to the point of Batmaned out a little bit. They kind of gave us all of the MMSs minus George Clooney. We have like every MMS of a live action Batman. So you're talking 85 years comic. This isn't an original theory. It's what makes sense to me. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, Marvel celebrating 85 years. That's why I kind of joke, because laugh when people talking about like, there's not a lot of content. There's a lot for Hot Toys to do in 2024, 2025, just because Marvel, and you know what? Marvel needs to take a break from the movies. Like they need to slow down. If Marvel Phase 4, I thought was a dumpster fire, they need to pump the brakes. They're putting all their focus on Deadpool, the Disney Plus shows. They are what they are. Star Wars is going through whatever's going on. DC's resetting itself. There is so much stuff that they have in the pipeline that they can still do. Revisit Batman Returns. I mean, you can go into the vault. They can pull out 2.0s. They can do reissues. They can do stuff like that. I mean, not for nothing. You saw they're doing it. Like, I mean, who'd have thought we'd already be getting a 2.0 of the BVS Batman, and Todd and McFarlane just announced. Did you guys see that? He announced a BVS Batman figure too, like a 12-inch or whatever. I mean, so BVS is the Justice League BVS and all that stuff. That Snyderverse still has some life in there that they're going to pump figures out of that thing. They're still going to, like, there's untapped potential there.
Are you getting the 2.0 BVS?
I pre-ordered it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't need to. I have the first one. I'm happy with the first one.
I have the first one too. I have the first one. So I pre-ordered this one because I liked it a lot. So I definitely was going to get it again because I want the head sculpt and everything. So yeah, it's a 6-inch BVS. Yeah, Todd McFarlane, he teased it today. It's going up for pre-order, I think, on the 19th. But nevertheless, like I said, you thought you were done with Ben Affleck, and there's still more Ben Affleck coming. So there's IPs, there's stuff out there. People are just, they're worried, but Hot Toys has got a lot in the pipeline. They got a lot.
It's overwhelming to the 9th degree there. But
and like I said, with the video that I made, they teased a lot of stuff that they didn't show us. MODOK, whether or not you get MODOK, the Death Star gunner station, the 2022 Batmobile. The what else? I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy. What Sean thinks that Guardians is past. He thinks that they're done. He's not going to do Guardians. There's just so much there that they can still do that I think that they're fine. I don't think they have anything to worry about from InArt. InArt is barely putting out a figure right now. So I think they're fine with what's going on. And then with these exclusives, they see that these exclusives sell. Whether or not people say they're worth the value, spending extra money on these exclusives, they sell. They could turn anything into an exclusive. They could turn anything into an artisan. That's why I say Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, if you ever see what a rooted Qui-Gon looks like, it looks badass.
The question is if there's a demand for that specific character.
That's the thing, is it? But I think that if they put a limited on there, no, you're right. I mean, like I said, but is there a demand? Was there a demand for an artist in Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, we hadn't had one in a while. She's different. She's you have to. Scarlet Witch has been part of the zeitgeist now between WandaVision and the films. She's still an active character. Qui-Gon was first film 25 years ago, and poof, and we got him. He's not rooted here. I get it, and you're probably right. Artisan would be great, but is there demand? And I would prefer Hot Toys not to go down that road. I would prefer them to just avoid the character altogether.
Yeah.
I would not want. I wouldn't buy them.
Here's the thing with Qui-Gon. I have no issues with him. I own it.
Yeah, I have him too. I would. That's, to me, that's a character I really don't want to replace or update. I don't.
No, I have him with. I USB hacked his lightsaber, and I also he's got a custom. I got a custom robe for him, a wired robe, which is nice. I'm completely happy with that figure. Like, there's nothing. I don't need it. I mean,
there's so much. I don't know. I'm just excited about a Droidica or a TC-14 or even just the battle droid from the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
there's good stuff in the Phantom Menace just within the droids, and there's even characters, like I said, a Queen Amidala, and I don't know if I would want a Newt Gunray. God, I hope they don't make him. I don't know if I would. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of filler in Phantom, like Newt Gunray as Viceroy, and I
don't need any of that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of filler in the Phantom Menace.
Well, it's a Phantom Menace. I mean, like I said, it could turn into Mandalorian, where it was like, when's enough?
Yeah. You want to be careful. Yeah, there's just, I don't know. And then Boss Nass, and then you have some I don't know. And then the Emperor. What's his name in this version?
Not Palpatine, but he's Chancellor.
Chancellor, or Senator. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. It gets really, and then which Yoda do you do? Do you do the before after Yoda, the puppet version? You do the CGI Yoda? And we don't need another Mace Windu. The one we have on pre-order is just fine. So,
well, he didn't change. he literally didn't change from 3 movies.
He didn't really change. So
he got older, but it's not like.
Yeah.
He's the same figure. He's the same character. But he didn't go through any changes for 3.
Yeah.
Movies.
I would support a Jar Jar Binks 100%.
I think so. And I think honestly, since I forgot the character's name who appeared in in live action form, that I think there was a resurgence in that character and a new appreciation, I should say.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely, and he's a unique character to the collection 100%. So I'm all about that. Absolutely. Yeah. So
Brian, I gotta go.
You're good though, right? Yeah. No, you're good. I appreciate it. I'll wrap up, but it was good seeing you popping in. I appreciate you popping in. I didn't think I'd get a chance to have you on stream, so it was good seeing you. Hopefully you get to stream again soon.
Absolutely. See you, folks.
Talk to you later. So absolutely. So I appreciate it, guys. So like I said, we had good numbers in the chat. I really do appreciate those watching. I had 42 up to 50 people watching at one point, and I had Sean in. Just kind of give you guys some updates. I'm probably going to wrap it up from there. I do appreciate it. Kind of ran over. I was only planning on doing the stream till around 9 o'clock, but Denobi crashed the party, which it's always fun. So I do appreciate everyone watching the stream. Drop a like on the stream. I really do appreciate it. And if this is your first time watching, consider subscribing. I don't stream as much anymore, but I might get back into it as long as we're having healthy, fun, content and making some good streams. So I'm open to it. I know Monday night was a little bit different, so it's just a matter of my my time frame of personal and stream when I can do it. I tried doing weekly streams before and I couldn't exactly hold up to that obligation, so I kind of stopped doing them on the weekends. So a lot of stuff's going on in my personal life, which is kind of affecting a little bit, which there'll be some of that coming down the pipeline eventually. But I do appreciate everyone joining in and watching. I'm kind of picking and choosing different times that I can stream. I'm kind of liking the Monday 7:30 route. If it works, I might make this a continued series, try to get back into it. If you guys are engaged and like the content, I really do appreciate that. But like I said, we had a lot of people in the chat. I just want to say thank you to everybody that was coming in, paid in, great stream. Thank you so much. Kaju Daddy, good stream. Thanks for putting together. This was very last minute. I was talking to Sean about this and I was like, hey, you want to talk about some stuff? He said, absolutely. So it's my first time watching. Who's this Mr. Mom? Thanks. He's a dummy. I am a dummy. So it's one of my New Year's resolutions is to stop talking shit, or I'll try to at least. But Peyton, take care, everybody. Thank you so much. But like I said, a lot of support. I put up a lot of videos if you guys want to check them out. I did a collection room tour And I got a couple things coming in the pipeline. I just filmed a video of my top 10 Hot Toys in my collection that are absolutely my favorite. But like I said, I really do appreciate it. Wayne, Timothy, on your way out, thanks so much for the stream. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to probably, I'm going to try to figure out a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because like I said, my personal schedule doesn't allow me just to do whenever. So this one just happened to work out for me, happened to work out for Sean. And Denobi was just an accident. I asked him if he wanted to jump in, and so he popped in for a little bit. So I do, he's still alive. But Cigars and Bacon, love you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. But until then, like I said, drop a like on the video. It helps get the content out there as always. I will leave this. I still have some preloaded videos in here. I haven't streamed for like 3 months, literally. But like I said, can't thank everyone enough for the support as always. Good night, MD Dyson. Good night. Thumbs up. Thanks so much, as always. And like I said, if it's your first time watching the stream, you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. It's wild. I think we're up to like 2,200 subscribers, and I'm going to try to have an end goal of 3,000 by the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. Never know. But I'm going to leave you guys with a video, and then we'll end the stream from there. But thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
I'll buy that for $1.
That's everything!
Thanks.
Thank you! In about 30 years?
I hope so.
All right. Anything.
Thanks so much.